And we're live. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well today. So, we're going to be continuing our little ventures into the belt in Citizen Sleeper 2. Just gotta fix up the audio, and then there, and there, and there. Should be up on the capture. Give it a moment. Yeah, I hope you're all doing all right today. I've been fine myself. It's just been a pretty slow, regular afternoon. Did my workout routine, and that went smoothly. Everything else has been pretty good. There we go. And yeah, I'm ready to play more of this because I'm very excited to see where we might go. So last we left off, if I remember correctly, is that we took Seraphin and the crew out to this big water, like ice mine. Essentially just a gigantic asteroid covered in ice that a syndicate had built a big worker town around, essentially. And we were there because Seraphin said, hey, I got a lead that might take me to where my sister is, and he hadn't seen his sister in a long time. So we go there, and Seraphin gets into a bit of a scrape, and after that scrape, we learn that, yes, his sister is here. She's under an alias, but she's here. So we're like, oh, okay, so as the sleeper, you know, we're going into the ice mines, and the reason why that we have to go into the mines themselves is because Seraphin's sister is put under a contract by the syndicate that's running this whole ice mining operation, and this contract has her working under conditions that are very, very brutal and very, very, very inhumane. Like the kind of thing that's genuinely a violation of a lot of different types of things. So she's essentially living in her workspace, much like the other workers that are in there. So we go there, we hang out, and we find her. And it turns out Seraphin's sister is one character that we got to meet in Citizen Sleeper 1. And I was very happy to discover that because I didn't remember that I think she did mention she had a brother in Citizen Sleeper 1, but it was nice to see her again. So getting to see her was cool, but she talked with us for a while, said, hey, I knew a Sleeper 2 like you. After that, one of the other characters that we had gotten to meet had started a intercom announcement over starting a strike, and the other workers around the mine started to attack the guards, and Tala is his Seraphin's sister's name. She said, I can't leave this place. I have to stay and help them. So I think we told Seraphin we found her, and then after that is where we left off. So we're going to be continuing from that point, and I think we just talked to the guy that started the strike because, you know, understandably, the people in the mines are being worked to an unreasonably hard extent. And essentially this person's trying to get a strike done so that they don't have these really awful contracts looming over them for however long that their duration is. So that's what we're up to now. Not quite a Mr. Everart situation, but you know, it's that sprung into mind, but I don't think there's going to be anything like that because the conditions worked under here are genuinely awful. Like they're working in sub-zero temperatures, and they just have space heater crates in the middle of their workspace where they go sleep. It's just a box that they live in that mine, according to what the description had told us. So yeah, I'm excited to keep going. I'm also nice and hydrated, so we'll make sure that we're reading plenty, because as I mentioned before, this game has no voice acting, so it's all reading. So we had just talked with what was his name again? We talked with no, Cadet was the driver, the air bike driver. sorry, I had a sneeze. The Lotic Syndicate, that's what it was. All right. Where were... So I have one roll left. My dice are still damaged, and I cannot repair them yet, which sucks. Also, how's the audio? Is the audio sounding good? All right. Let's... cut water shift, buy a meal. I don't need... Well, do I need a meal? Yeah, that's the other thing. We also did an ice extraction and did some other traveling and job stuff, and we got a lot of money. We are pretty set for funds. We'll eat up. Why not? Scrap components. Don't really need those. Don't need any of that. I have no other rolls that I need to make right now. I might as well take a depot shift. Why not? Ugh, that's not good. Okay, well that's set. Yeah, nothing else to really do. We don't need fuel or supplies. I've bought plenty of both. So I think we're set. All right, do we have anything to talk about here? So, where's the... Ooh, good. Decent, okay spread of rolls. So, find Lozer, so complete contract. So, we talked with the guy that was organizing this whole strike. Oh, I remember. I think it was, we were talking about this. Yeah. Isolate a tanker. That stream is holding the debris field on Syndicate orders. Kirk, that's the guy's name. I thought it started with a K, but I couldn't remember the full name. Kirk believes it is the perfect target for a mutiny, if your crew can get on board and inspire one. So, yeah, Kirk wants us to start a mutiny because he wants to completely cut... He wants this new strike to hold all the cards on the table so that the Lotic Syndicate can hold nothing in terms of negotiation. Like, they want to force them into agreeing to these workers needing rights. So we're gonna go start a mutiny. Okay, so Kirk's with us. Eugen or Bliss? Who do I pick? Let's see. So Kirk will fulfill these roles. So let's go with Bliss. Have them with us. Take that down. All right. Yeah, because we don't want to have our resources be spread to one only area. The headstream looms large in the cockpit windows as it comes to a stop. I can't believe you talked me into this, Seraphin sighs. This is not a good plan. Convincing Seraphin to take Kirk out to this Lotic freighter wasn't exactly easy. But with the pit head on lockdown, there really weren't any other options. Yeah, the pit head was where Seraphin's sister is being kept, pretty much. A voice crackles over Seraphin's terminal, loud enough to hear, but quiet enough that you can't pick out what's being said. What are they saying? Seraphin glances back over his shoulder at you. They're telling us to prepare for docking. He swallows nervously and turns back to the console. Good. Keep them talking. You look behind you. You look behind you to see Kirk floating by the doorway. Seraphin flicks comm switches and begins speaking to the Lotic ship, thanking them for responding to the distress signal, trying his best to play the part of the nervous traitor suffering an engine failure in the debris field. Kirk jerks his head for you to follow him into the corridor, and you unclip from your seat and float out behind him. If it's okay with you, I'm going to play the captain on this one. His flat stare suggests he isn't asking for permission. Is this going to work? Kirk shrugs. If we keep calm and take it slow, there's nothing to worry about. Let me tell you how this is going to go. He starts moving down He starts moving. God damn it. Let me hydrate. I thought I am hydrated, but no, that's not. Hold on. Let me tell you how this is going to go. He starts moving down down towards the airlock, and you follow as he talks. The headstream has been holding here, cycle after cycle, while Wellspring tried to quash our little rebellion. He smiles at the idea. Now the blockade is in effect. Well, they'll know they have to hold out for longer still, while the messages from Lodic operations get less and less frequent. He stops by the lockers, swapping his Lodic uniform for an old flight jacket. This is a ship full of tired, unhappy, underpaid, and underfed, that's the word, underfed workers. You both arrive at the airlock. We just have to nudge their anger in the right direction. There's a hiss as the airlock cycles. Lodic are coming aboard. Kirk catches your eye and gives you a wink. Lambert, okay. The airlock doors scissor open, revealing a drained-looking Lodic captain flanked by security officers. Lambert, captain of the Headstream. He presents himself immediately, but with little enthusiasm. We have been in communication with your pilot and are docking as requested to provide support. He looks between you and Kirk, his eyes lingering on you a little too long, no doubt taking in the strange vinyl skin, dark glowing eyes, and doll-like face of your frame. He directs his attention to Kirk. How fares your crew? Thank you, Captain. You notice the immediate change in Kirk, his deflated posture and softer speech. We are surviving as best we can, but for now, you have to come to our rescue. Now that you have come to our rescue, he sighs and holds out an eager hand to Lambert. We are very grateful indeed. Lambert limply shakes Kirk's hand. Not to worry. The Lodic Syndicate takes its stewardship of Wellspring and the surrounding environs seriously. It is our duty to offer aid to traders and travelers alike. I'm afraid we don't have much to offer by way of supplies. Our stores have been depleted by our long posting here. But your crew is free to enter our ship and make use of its facilities while you make your repairs. Kirk continues playing the submissive captain, nodding enthusiastically and uttering a stream of thank yous. You feel like he's pushing it a little, though. Lambert only seems to be paying the minimum of attention to him. Suddenly he turns a sharp eye to you. Your pilot didn't mention you had a sleeper aboard. What of it? Lambert flinches almost imperceptibly when you respond. Nothing at all, just observing. He glances suspiciously towards the corridor. I suppose you have any other supplies tucked away in here? Oh no, not at all. Kirk jumps in. Apologies, our sleeper is a hard worker and a quiet one too. He shoots you a look. Perhaps if your ship is in need of maintenance, you can borrow them for a few cycles. Lambert eyes you more brazenly now, taking Kirk's lead as permission to indulge his curiosity. Yes, his eyes trace a tear in the thick skin of your forearm. Perhaps this could be of use to us. Or it could be of use to us. Kirk smiles. I'll send them to speak with your crew. I'm sure they can direct the sleeper to appropriate tasks. Oh, they'd love that, Lambert jokes. They're a work-shy bunch, this lot. I'm sure they'd be eager for a slave. The word sets you on edge. He wants us to stay silent. Fuck this guy. You're happy to serve. Kirk bows. After all, we owe you our safety. Very good. Lambert seems suddenly bored or tired, or perhaps both. Tell your crew they are free to cross the docking tunnel then. He pauses, but remind them that no funny business will be tolerated. He smiles a sharp smile. I have matters to attend to, Lambert turns. See you later, Captain. And with that, Lambert heads back down the tunnel, still flanked by his two silent security officers. Kirk waits until he is out of sight to turn to you. Good. He lets out a breath. Well held, sleeper. I thought from the look in your eye you were going to knock him out. I'd love to. I'll bet. Kirk stares down the corridor. But don't you worry. We're going to pay him back for all that soon. Very soon. Kirk squeezes your shoulder. Shall we go meet this crew? See what their opinions are on Lodic's administration? He smiles broadly. With a captain like that, I doubt they'll be very positive. All right. So this is very different from the other contracts we've had, because other contracts we've had are very, what's the word? They were just extraction jobs that were very cut and dry. This, we're starting a mutiny. All right. Let's go to engine room. So yeah, the situation with this ship is that the Lotic system has a blockade in front, and with this blockade, all the ships surrounding it, or majority of them, are likely undersupplied. So that essentially means, hey, the workers aren't really getting enough of their fair share of things. Sabotage engines, criticize contracts. The engineering staff of the Headstream are already in doubt about their captain. Yeah, so this was the right place to start. It's all going our way. Okay. That was his best roll. I don't know about a 3. Bliss has a 4, but that's not... Maybe find something with a modifier. I'll use my 6 here. Beautiful. And I can use one of my 4s here. Good modifier there. Uh-oh. Crisis active 1+ cycle. Okay. Discuss the war. Lotic are trying to profit from the war. Yeah, because there's still a corporate war going on right now, and that's not a good look for anybody involved. Stress on me. God damn it. That wasn't good. Try again. God damn it. Oh no, my rolls. Is Bliss has got a 4 for that. Could do a push. Might as well. Oh, hell yeah. Big boost. All right. What else can we do? We already got this. Good. Yeah. Yeah, Bliss can only really do the debate wellspring thing. Okay. I don't feel confident on having a 2 available here. Even with this. Good try. Alright, yeah. Okay, end that cycle. It's the best we could do for that. Oh my god, what is with these rolls? Distress beacon. Oh. Disable beacon. The captain has triggered the ship's distress beacon in desperation. The longer it is on, the more likely the Lotic is to send support. We don't want that. God damn it! Oh no! Oh, this is bad. And now, oh. Gotta stress again. Shit, this is bad. My rolls are shit. Oh, good God. Oh no. Try this at least. Oh my God. This is actually not good. Oh. This might be the worst that we've gotten in a while. I think we just end the cycle here, frankly, because this is... My rolls are bad, and my rolls have been bad, and my outcomes have been bad. Holy shit. Oh god. Kirk rushes into the bay you are crossing.
It's all kicking off, Sleeper.
A growing fear in his eyes.
Lambert's lost control.
He guides you through the headstream, a ship you have become surprisingly familiar with over the past few cycles. Perhaps it is the influence of getting to know the crew and their complaints around Lambert and the Syndicate. But its twisting corridors, thick pipes, and cold metal have taken on an oppressive feel, cycle by cycle, hour by hour. Now, as the shouts of conflict echo down the corridor ahead, where a room glows with the warm light of the galley, you feel that oppressive pall tightening its grip. It's too early. You know it is.
Well, it's not my fault. My RNG wanted to pee on my shoes.
The sickening feeling growing inside of you tells you that you haven't gotten enough support to pull this off.
Back away!
Lambert's shouts echoes like a shot as you enter the crowded galley. A gang of crew members, maybe a third of the total number, is loudly arguing with a smaller group, clumped around Lambert.
You've allowed yourself to be swayed by those eager to use you for their own ends,
Lambert is shouting across the galley.
I'm sorry to have to do this to my own crew, but there must be consequences.
You see him glance over his shoulder, and tracing his view, you see security officers tensely gathered at the back of the room. You look at Kirk. His panicked expression, something you aren't used to seeing, tells you he notices them too. Then, with a nod from Lambert, security moves into the crowd.
Oh, thank God.
Finally, a roll that works out. You launch yourself into the crowd as it pushes forward. The crew resisting Lambert surge like a wave, their arms up to protect their heads from the security officers' batons. You find yourself at the front suddenly, blows raining down. You do your best to shield yourself from them as you lash out in response, tumbling as you do. You see some of the crew fall back under heavy strikes, and you begin to doubt how long this diminishing resistance will hold. Suddenly, you hear a panicked squawk above the rumble of shouts. You regain your sense of direction as you see Kirk grappling with Lambert.
Get the hell off of me!
Lambert screams. The spindly captain is no match for Kirk, who wraps his thick forearms around Lambert's neck and chest, squeezing tight. Security officers begin to strike at Kirk, and you see him flinch as they do, but hold his grip strong. Seeing their movement, the crew wrestle the security officers off Kirk as Lambert's feet kick futilely in the air, his fingers scratching at Kirk's arm around his neck, his eyes rolling back. So stop Kirk from suffocating him, help the crew. So stop him, help the crew or don't interfere. Lambert was acting like Lambert was an asshole to us. You scramble forward and join the crew pushing back the security and anyone else resisting them. The tide shifts, the security falling back or floating injured, pushed against the far wall of the room. Small orbs of blood float across the space like a constellation of violence, gently spattering the pale galley walls. Sensing the shift, Kirk releases Lambert, who spins lazily through the air, a trail of spittle leaking from the corner of his mouth. You see his chest rising and falling very slowly. He is alive. Okay, he didn't kill him. From this moment on, the conflict fades. Lambert and the injured are taken to the medical bay under the escort of the resisting crew, now armed with batons. Some of the security see the futility of resisting and agree to join the mutiny. Those who stubbornly remain are taken to the brig. You join the others in cleaning up the galley, the room itself evidence of the brutal takeover this became. People bled and cried out in this room, and you can't help but feel that some of their pain is on you. At some point, you have to stop, a hazy feeling coming over your body. You reach up and touch your head, and feel a rent in your thick vinyl skin. When you touch something metal and cold beneath, you withdraw your fingers.
Settle yourself here, Sleeper.
What is that voice?
Settle yourself here, Sleeper.
Kirk, bruised and tired, gestures to one of the galley flight couches. Please. You have no energy to resist, even if you wanted to. As you settle on the couch and slip your feet into the straps, Kirk inspects your head.
This wasn't how it was supposed to go.
You feel him applying some kind of adhesive patch to your wound, but I want you to remember this.
I want you to remember that it was Lorik that caused this, that pushed us to the edge, and that required this of us.
Kirk's fingers smoothed down the edges of the patch.
The blood will always be on their hands.
Is it hands or hand? I'm not confident in my accent work on this one. I'm trying my best though. It's just I have a feeling Kirk's Scottish because of some of the phrasing he's used. It's hard to tell when there's no VA work. So yeah, we got injured pretty badly. I mean, thankfully I made that roll. I feel like there probably wasn't enough time to do most of the stuff here unless we got rid of the distress beacon, but holy fuck, our rolls were bad. Like, it was really dog shit. The repair finished. You turn to face Kirk. Stay silent. Kirk sighs.
I will not be judged.
Kirk pushes away from the couch, rising up.
Spare your thoughts for the crew.
He glances around the room, now almost empty.
It is their struggle that lies ahead, handling this ship and the role it must have in the blockade.
Yeah, I mean, a violent takeover was bound to happen to an extent, but holy shit.
They will need to calm this violence alone, and retaliation will come.
He sighs a heavy sigh.
I hope they will be ready when it's done. However, we need to return to Wellspring.
Kirk takes a deep breath and lets it out slow.
The struggle goes on.
He pushes off from the couch and leaves the room. You take a moment before you follow, taking one last look at the galley. A few crimson stains still dot its walls. You hope this was worth it. People got hurt. Alright, so now we gotta go back to Wellspring. Contract concluded. Oh, that was awful. I have full stress, all damaged dice, a whole bunch of damaged dice, and I fucked up a bunch. God damn it. The cut thrums with tension. This steaming city and its brash inhabitants have quieted, not to silence, but to a low rumble of conversation. The blockade is holding, the syndicate is waning, and everywhere there are plans to be made, not plants, not plants. You and Seraphin float idly in Chasm Row, many stories deep in this wound in the Wellspring side. Waiting on Kirk, not far from the first place you met, a meeting Seraphin still has lingering bruises from. Kirk is inside somewhere, and likely every other Lodik contractor, he is making plans. Even before you arrived back in Wellspring, he had hijacked the rig's transmitter to speak with his fellow conspirators and make arrangements for his arrival. Watching Kirk's plot unfold made you realize that, despite your involvement, in the end you are just a subsidiary part of the struggle, a chaotic outside actor, with effect but no real influence. Now, waiting for Kirk's return, you feel a little solace in that. You aren't ready to be dragged into another struggle. Not yet. You still have your freedom to win. And looking at Seraphin next to you, you know that he does too.
All right, we're on.
Kirk comes on out of a passage nearby, nodding to the two of you to follow. He leads you both into the Rhyme Market passageways. This time not the steaming market hall that lies beneath the deepest streets, but to a cramped room, walled with pipes and rusted panels. Wait here. He nods to both of you before pushing off and gliding back out of the room. Kirk's business is something that has slowly gathered since you left the headstream, eroding your relationship to the point of non-existence. It is not something that surprises you. You know that every time he looks at you, he sees the violence of that final cycle on headstream. The orbs of blood, Lambert's unconscious form, the orbs of blood, or unconscious form. You know that because every time you look at him, you see the same. Seraphin settles again. You shoot him a look, but his focus is elsewhere. His eyes glazed over. You fold your arms and wait. Also, we have an ad break starting in about 30 seconds, so I think I might go ahead and start the BRB. But yeah, this is what a way to start off. We get the mutiny underway. I fuck up a bunch of rolls, and we're injured pretty badly. God, my dice. Cause like we had some decent shots at some stuff. It was just not enough cycles to get enough support, but oh well, I'm Iron Manning this. So yeah, that's it. BRB everybody, get some water, stretch, whatever you need to do. Be right back. And we're back. Thank you for your patience, everybody. All right. So yeah, Kirk's kind of avoiding us because he seems to also have some lingering regrets regarding the mutiny that took hold because of how violent it got. It's not good. So we both see each other as just like representatives of that cycle. So let's see how things go. Sarah? Oh! Hi! Oh, this is gonna be nice. Tala enters so quietly that in the dim room you barely notice her. She shoots you a look and smiles as she enters. Thank you, she mouths silently and then turns her attention to her brother. Tala. Seraphim says her name like a sigh, like an exhale. He is shaking his head, his eyes already shining with uncontrollable emotion. She rushes across the room, flying into Seraphim at speed. They embrace, softly spinning in the dust and dark, their fingers dug into each other's backs. They separate, a couple of pristine spheres of briny tears spinning away through the air as they do. You're safe. Seraphim nods and takes a breath. I'm safe. She smiles reassuringly, settling him. And in this setting, this gesture of care, you see a whole network of sighs and secrets. Tala is to the claim of Seraphim's storm, or the calm to Seraphim's storm, the big sister who eases his heart. She looks him up and down. You're so big, Sarah, she laughs at her own statement. You've grown up. She tries to make it sound approving rather than patronizing. You're just the same sister. Seraphim shakes his head, calling me big but making me feel small. The moment the statement leaves his lips, you feel a chill in the room, and you aren't sure if he meant it. Tala flinches a little, hurt but not wanting to show it. I came to find you, Tala tries again. I needed to find you. Seraphim looks torn, and you see in him something you have come to recognize, the slow and careful rising of his defenses. Why now? He looks away. It's been a long time, Tala. Mom and Dad have finally decided they want me to come home. A ripple of emotion runs through Tala, one she can't hide. Sarah, after you left, they're gone, she sighs. I thought you would have. She struggles to find the words. It's been a long time. It has. Seraphim sets his face into a stern look of control, but you know he is raging inside. And in this moment, you feel closer to him than you ever have felt in a while. Tala folds her arms, trying to regain a little control of the exchange. It's good to see you, Sarah. So good. You know what is coming, and you see Seraphim brace for it too. But I can't leave with you. She looks pained. This isn't easy for her either. Seraphim can only nod, a dulling acceptance watching over him. I wanted to find you, and I have. And I can see you are strong and she shoots you a glance. You have your life here. But the people here, the other contractors, they were the ones who found me, who have kept me going since I ended up here, desperate and alone. She smiles warmly. It's not that I owe them. It's that they are my family too. She gently places a hand on his shoulder. I know you understand this. She smiles at you. We all find our families out here. Seraphim smiles a rare smile, his eyes wet. We do, sister. He embraces her again. They separate, and Tala turns her attention to you. I know you will take care of my brother, Sleeper. She smiles. I saw it in your eyes when you came into the pit head. She approaches you and puts a hand on your shoulder. I can see you are building something of value on that ship of yours. Thank you. She nods gently and takes her hand away. She folds her arms again, her sense of control returning. There is a wisdom and experience to Tala that brings a certain calm to you. A feeling, and you feel that now. Will you two be staying here for a while, or... Tala looks between you and Seraphim. Seraphim cuts in before you can answer. Not long, he smiles. We have our own freedom to find. Tala nods. Just be aware you're free to pass the blockade, but after that... She sighs. Wellspring is going to be locked down for a little while. At least until Kirk can establish his council. Next time you come, she smiles proudly, this will be a very different place. Hearing Tala say this, you suddenly see the authority in her, and realize that one of those council seats may well have her name on it. You look between the two of them and realize they have years to catch up on, and they'd probably rather do that without you watching. You nod to them and slip out of the room, a lilting conversation starting up the moment you leave. As you follow the twisting corridors back to Chasm Row, you smile to yourself at the thought of Tala and Seraphine, reunited at last. You hope this whole adventure will make Seraphine a little less moody, even though you know, deep down, it'll probably make him worse. Oh, hey, Yujin. On your way to the rig, you pass a tired-looking Yujin.
We heading out?
He sighs.
Because I'm not sure I've got another chit left to wager.
How much did you lose? He squints at his fingers for a second, making calculations.
Too much, he shrugs. Gonna strap myself in for a nap.
He disappears into the berths. Later in the cycle, Seraphine quietly comes back to the rig. He immediately settles himself into the cockpit and starts running diagnostics on the engines. He looks up as you enter and shoots you a smile.
Good to see you up here, Sleeper. I'm getting you ready to head out.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Sleeper. Really good.
He flicks a sequence of switches. Sleeper? Seraphine turns to face you.
Thank you.
He smiles.
I appreciate you bringing us all the way out here. I won't forget it.
Will Tala be okay?
She's found a place here, and I'm really happy for her.
He looks away, out of the cockpit windows at Wellspring.
She always was the responsible one, and I was always the one running away. I guess some things never change.
Seraphine quietly watches the diagnostics complete, a subtle smile on his lips.
One thing is for sure, we've been here too long.
Seraphine meets your eye.
And we've been seen by too many people. Wellspring may be far out of Utsubo territory, but I'm sure Lane will find a way to reach his nasty claws out here, give it enough time. Let's not give him the chance.
Hey guys! Bliss's voice echoes up the passage into the cockpit. They lean in the door, looking between the two of you. 2 contractors just dumped a load of fuel outside of our ship. Said it was a gift. You and Seraphine look at each other.
Gotta be Kirk.
Seraphine gets up.
It's either a thank you or his way of telling us to get going.
Seraphine kicks off and glides out of the cockpit. Hey, so... Bliss smiles. While you two have been busy, so have I. Been looking at the rig's drive, and I reckon it's due for an upgrade. We'll need engine components. Quite a few. So keep an eye out. Bliss shrugs. Shipyards tend to be a good place to work. Or to look. Thanks, Bliss. Bliss winks. Anytime, they say. Better go help Seraphine with that fuel. As Bliss leaves the cockpit, you find yourself lost in thought, considering your next step while the icy expanse of Wellspring glitters below. Oh, you are free to leave Wellspring. Now you have a HasNav unit installed. You can freely travel through the debris fields on the belt map. Alright, well, first things first, I need to repair my ass because holy shit, that stung. Wait, don't I have to? Oh, it's engine components. I'm stupid. Get my dice fixed up. Yeah, it's gonna raise my chances of getting a glitched dice, but I'd rather have my dice repaired and glitched, frankly. Okay, so I guess this is where we say goodbye to Wellspring. So, I know Flotsam was our next place, because we wanted to check out what's wrong with my body. And then there was also... that's way too low. Yeah, the scatter yards, yeah. So let's go to Flotsam. I didn't think we'd be closing the book on Wellspring this early, but yeah, we did it. All right. The rig glides safely through the debris cloud. Or through a debris cloud, not a singular. The cockpit empty apart from you and Seraphine.
So, Sleeper, I've been thinking.
Seraphine gives you a sly look over his shoulder.
I've been thinking I'm sick of running.
Me too.
I mean, even if we want to keep going the way we have been, we've run out of belt. Beyond Wellspring, it's mostly rocks and emaciated scavengers. And, well, I'm a city boy at heart. But not only that,
Seraphim meets your eye.
we've been building something here, Sleeper. The crew, the ship.
He smiles.
Hell, we just got this Hasnav suit for free.
He thumbs the new unit on top of his flight console.
What I'm asking is, how do you feel about taking Lane on?
You want to go to war with Utsubo?
Not war, he smiles, but something else. You've seen what's happening in Wellspring, what Tala's doing.
He shakes his head.
Kirk is a fool, but he's onto something. Get on the inside. Organize, undermine. That I can get on board with.
You've changed. Seraphim shrugs.
Maybe I have. He winks. Maybe I'm just bored of hiding out on the edge of everything. Just think about it, Sleeper. We find a way back onto Darkside quietly. We make some connections. We start something running.
He turns back to his console.
It'd be one hell of a thing. Utsubo are ruthless. The way they run Darkside, there's gotta be plenty of people fed up with them.
Seraphim shrugs.
And they've gotten worse under Lane. Worse since they pushed the other gangs out.
You smile and shake your head at how fast Seraphim can bounce back when he wants to. And as you do, you can't help but consider his plan.
Look, maybe it's crazy, but we need a safe harbor either way. I've got a connection in the scatter yards. He'll tuck us away, keep us quiet from everyone.
You see Seraphim has his coin in his hand and is turning it over between his fingers as he speaks.
If we want, maybe he can help us get into Darkside. But even if we don't, it's a good place to rest up and make a plan.
He turns back to the controls to deal with a rapid beep from the new Hasnav unit. The scatter yards. You've heard of them. They have a reputation as a fiercely independent set of shipyards. Just starward of Darkside. A hiding place right under Lane's nose.
However,
Seraphim looks at you with concern.
Before we try anything drastic, we need to get that body of yours looked at. Stop stalling. Get a diagnostic run on your frame.
His expression softens.
We're here to back you up.
Seraphim turns his focus back to piloting the ship. As you watch debris flit past the ship, you turn your focus to what's ahead. All right. So we look like we're going against Lane at some point. Oh God, yeah, I figured that would happen. It's hard to tell where Flotsam ends and the ship's parked at its many docking bridges begins. As Seraphim docks with the station, you realize that the rig now looks like just another piece of accumulated technology. One more bit of driftwood added to the raft.
I love this place.
Seraphim smiles as he shuts down the engines.
You never know what you'll find.
You've been here before?
Yeah, back when I first came to the belt. The crew I signed on with used to run salvage jobs out of here. Fun place to spend your wages.
You see Bliss eyeing the station with what looks like both horror and fascination. You see the seals? They point out to some twisted assemblage of ship parts. Total cowboy welds. They could pop any moment. Seraphim waves away their concerns.
That's just the outer layer. I heard there's 6 or 7 in all, so if one fails, it's no problem.
He stretches and turns to you.
You've got to taste some of the stuff they grow in old Takahe?
Gotta be Takahe.
He kisses his fingers. That's the good shit.
Oh, great, Bliss sighs. So many layers of redundancy and fallbacks that you have no hope of isolating a leak and fixing it. They rap on the wall of the rig. Sounds like a ship I know. Agree with Bliss. They smile as you join in with the joke, but Seraphim doesn't look impressed.
She got you out here, didn't she?
He looks between the two of you.
No sense of gratitude.
I was joking. Bliss looks a little hurt and drifts out of the cockpit, shaking their head. You follow, but Seraphim puts a hand on your shoulder.
Sleeper?
He looks suddenly serious.
Remember what I said about getting checked out? There are artificers all over this place. It'll take a bit of searching, but we need to know what's going on with you.
He meets your eye. That's why we're here.
Good. Seraphin nods. Let me know what they say. I'm gonna go see if any of my old haunts are still open. He drifts out of the cockpit with a mock salute. Catch you later. You are left alone in the cockpit with a view of Flotsam's chaotic structure. You look over the multicolored plating. It does, you admit, have a certain charm. It's you. A familiar voice echoes down the tunnel behind you. Oh my God! He survived! Holy shit! Okay, so for context, first station that we stopped at in this game was one called Hexport, and after we had left, when Lane was on our trail, Hexport got fucking destroyed. Like, completely obliterated. Nothing left of it. And Femi here was a resident of Hexport along with his sister. So I was like, oh shit, they must have gotten, oh no. Femi survived. Oh shit. Oh my God. You turn in the passage to see Femi towering over you. He shakes his head. This just keeps getting better. Been a while, Femi. Yeah, I guess. He frowns and glances over his shoulder. Remember Nia? That sister of mine you thought you'd take on a contract? Well, she's taken some inspiration from your little trip. You see anger burning in Femi's eyes, but there's a tiredness there too. He folds his arms across his broad chest. The symbol crash has been in repair since we got out of Hexport. Caught up in that whole mess. Femi sighs. So, stuck here, she gets bored and decides to sign up with another crew. Take a job. I said no, and she went anyway. Femi glares at you. What happened at Hexport? No idea. There's some kind of alert, but we were already on our way out. Didn't give it much thought. And the whole place went up. Femi looks away. Been at the scatter yards ever since. Till we came here, that is. Symbol crash, can't leave right now. I'm halfway through rewiring the damn thing. Something else Nia was supposed to do. I asked around. Turns out Nia signed on with some idiots heading out to Cutter's Edge. Femi says her name with an emphasis you can't place. They are as green as you, meaning they have no idea what they are doing going out to a place like that. So you, Femi jabs at your chest with a finger, are gonna take me out there to go get her. I'll show you the way. She knows what she's doing. Even if she does, the crew she's with sure as hell don't. Femi frowns. We are not leaving it to chance. Look, I know how things go. I've got shits. I can pay. Femi grimaces. Can't pay for the parts the symbol crash needs when no one sells them anyway. 250 cryo. Femi folds his arms across his chest. No bargaining. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the symbol crash ready to make the run herself. He sighs. But the shape she's in, it's not the best idea to head out there alone. You suddenly see the desperation in his eyes. He would risk everything for Nia. I'll be waiting. We need to head out soon. Femi grips your shoulder. Don't test my patience. Femi kicks off and glides back along the passage towards his ship. And don't even think about skipping out of Flotsam without me, he calls back to you. Then we're really done. So we have to save him from himself, yeah. So we have to, I gotta at least spend some cycles fixing my glitches up. Explore Flotsam. Hey, look at that. New location. Ow. Get a true positive result out of that. So 2 new locations. The narrow escape. So we have a contract name here. Well, we can't really do anything. Well, I don't want to take another contract right now. Buy fuel. We do need fuel. We do need to get fuel up there, and some supplies too.
Or no, not... Buy scrap components. Okay, so those are the good scrap. We only have 3 cycles worth of supplies. Please let this be a supply run area. Please. Yes, okay, good. Fill supplies. And work the hydroponics. Serves a huge hydroponic farm. Keep the station alive. Could do that, but I want to see if I can fill this up. I'm curious. Hey. The chaos of Flotsam intrigues you. Passage to passage, it is the most incoherent place you have ever visited. Plating, cladding, and cushioning of all kinds of conditions hides a forest of wires and ducts, interfacing in ways their manufacturers would never dream possible. Rooms are crushed cargo bays, flipped bridges, and eviscerated engine rooms. Patchwork corridors are lumpen with messy welds, bending worryingly along their length. It is, to put it nicely, a total mess. It's not that you don't like it, but finding an artificer among this chaos can be more than a little challenging. This cycle, searching these winding passages once more, seeing only scrap merchants and junk shops, you have begun to wonder if Seraphin had any idea what he was talking about when he advised you to come here. Ah, a sleeper. A voice cuts through the pungent air. Pungent, not pugnant, pungent air. Well, I never. Oh, Jean-Mi, or Jean-Mi? I think so. I think that's how the name's pronounced. Oh, I love the design. I'll never get over how good the artwork is here. You glance in the voice's direction and find yourself looking at a small booth piled with tech. Behind a fogged and scratched plastic screen is a meticulously arranged counter, the only clear spot in sight. At it, an older man with wet and wandering eyes sits nearby. Excuse me? The man's eyes widen. Apologies. I wasn't sure you even heard me. Jean-Mi tilts his head. I didn't mean to be rude. Please. And he bows a little. That's okay. He smiles warmly, almost bowing again, his hunched shoulders are accentuating the movement. How? He pauses, taking care with his speech now. How are you feeling, Sleeper? He beckons you a little closer. 3 out of 4 endings down in DS3. Nice. I'm Jean-Michel. Though, please, to you, Jean-Mi. I work with machines. He sweeps a hand over his counter where you see configurations of tiny parts, mostly small ones. I'm not great. Of course. He chops his hand to indicate a stool with a leg bar, meant for perching beside his counter. And such is the clarity and persuasiveness of his movement that you obligingly sit. Your presence is a rare honor here. He smiles and looks down to his lap. I'm sorry if I make you uncomfortable. I'm just very pleased to see you. Can I help you with something? I was more imagining I could help you. I can see your journey to me has not been easy, he says with genuine concern. You track his eyes across your body, noticing the scuff marks on your thick vinyl-like skin, the replaced and broken parts of your body, the marks of violence. You pull your jacket a little tighter. Jean-Mi folds his hands one over the other and places them on the counter. I do not know what your experiences have been, but I want to assure you that I see you as a person, a being, a soul, shall we say, as valid as any other. You look at Jean-Mi, his own age and wear also evident, a life of precise and careful work shaping his body into a reflection of his process. You note his unconfident way of speaking, which betrays a certain loneliness, a lack of practice. It is his turn to feel observed. How do you expect me to respond? He looks away. I am sorry. I do not think I am expressing myself well. He looks down at his counter and begins to take apart a tiny piece of machinery that sits there. Many years ago, when I began my apprenticeship, I would find whenever I saw something that, how to say, was not working well, I was fixated on it and its repair. He tinkers with the parts, twisting them precisely. Of course, the belt is filled with this kind of dysfunctional detail. And so I was busy, for many years, with these small fixings. He smiles in reminiscence. But now I find that when I am interested in a thing that is not working as it should, he sharply twists one of the parts between his fingers. It is because it might have some quality not yet foreseen or discovered. He releases the altered object into the air where it... balletically? Yeah, gotta be balletically twists in a hypnotic display, like a spinning top whose movements are totally unpredictable. Jean-Mi smiles at you watching his hypnotic toy. I can see you are in possession of becoming, Sleeper. Or in process, not possession. I can't fucking read it all. I see you're in a process of becoming, Sleeper. He catches the spinning toy between a finger and thumb. Let me aid you on this. Why? It is my habit, he smiles, and my small offer to you. Jean-Mi's precise hands drop to a device around his neck. He deftly pulls a pair of goggles up to his face, masking his wet eyes. Hold still, Sleeper. Something flickers inside the goggles, their face blank. Jean-Mi's hands play across the buttons and switches on the exterior, tuning, focusing. Let him work. When the goggles are finally lowered, they reveal a look of concern on Jean-Mi's face. I think you better come inside. He kicks off from his desk and disappears. A moment later, you hear a rattle and a small bulkhead door beside the booth you had assumed was rusted shut creaks open. Jean-Mi beckons you inside. Jean-Mi's workshop is even more cramped than you expected. As you enter, you are surrounded on all sides with netting holding bundles and bundles of terminals, servers, drivers, and cables. At its center, a padded seat and a set of articulated arms mounted with sensors and tools fill the space. One of those servers might be... Sorry, one of those is my Java Minecraft server. Don't touch that. The seat, please. Jean-Mi gestures at it with a polite smile. What are you going to do? Not to worry. I only wish to examine you. It is non-intrusive. You tentatively settle on the seat, slipping your arms and feet into the straps meant to keep you from floating out of it in zero-G. Jean-Mi floats beside you. He looks across your body. There is damage here, I can see that. We will get to that. But I see something else here as well. This is why you came. He looks at you solemnly. Yes. Though I have never met a sleeper, I have studied them. I was lucky to acquire some materials from SNARP some time ago, in the interest of my own endeavors. He begins arranging a series of sensors around you on articulated arms. You are pleasingly distinct from those materials. His eyes flash with excitement. Am I right in thinking you have been modified? I rebooted myself. Yes, I see that your dependency on stabilizer, on the immune recoding portion of its makeup at least, has been broken. He gives you a precise look. But that is not all. Okay, so yeah, I noticed we don't have a meter for stabilizer that's needed, so we're pretty fine. You are physically modified. Not externally, but internally. He carefully positions the final sensor. Your tracker's disabled, which makes it impossible for SNARP to find you. Congratulations, he smiles broadly. But this is not all. You have been modified, yes, but you are also being modified as we speak. You feel a strange claustrophobia at Jean-Mi's statement. Modified? Seraphim rebooted your system, ran the recoding protocol, but that shouldn't have physically changed you. It only removed your paneling. It only removed your planned obsolescence. How? Jean-Mi goes to a terminal and flicks a switch. Through the back of the translucent screen, you see a nodal web in the vague shape of a sitting body. Your body. These changes appear to be complex, subtle, but consistent. Jean-Mi goes silent as he taps at the terminal, the representation of your body rotating and unfolding in unsettling motions. What changes? See here? He points at a flickering representation of your spine, tracing a line towards your head. Your nervous system is growing additional nodal points, here and here. Meanwhile, your emulation interface is growing an umbilical access port. Though towards what end I am unsure. You instinctively reach back and touch the base of your head. As you do, the scan flickers and screeches with noise. You feel something there, growing, under your thick vinyl skin. Can you feel a lump, or is that just your imagination? You pick at it. Jean-Mi sighs and shuts off the terminal. The changes are partial, and, in all honesty, he gestures sharply at the sensors. The resolution is too poor. I need to run a full diagnostic, but for that, I would need to... He drifts over to another terminal and brings up screens and screens of text and diagrams. Yes, some kind of medium to hold your suspended emulation. The access jack I can build myself, but we will need to bridge your emulation. Jean-Mi speaks quietly, almost to himself. A ship mind would be ideal for this. Would have to be high capacity, a prime ship mind, Solheim in origin. Perhaps Helion Gate might hold records of any that were in the system. He taps at the terminal. Jean-Mi turns back to you. Yes, the prime ship mind is essential if you wish further investigations to be done. I will need this above all. He thumbs the terminal off. I'm sorry to say, Sleeper. Can't you tell me more? Accurately? No. He meshes his fingers in front of his chest. It is clear that a process has begun, but has yet to complete. Jean-Mi busies himself with taking down the sensors and folding away the articulated arms. As he does, you try to calm yourself. You feel as if you have worms under your skin, and it takes all your focus not to pick at its seams. Jean-Mi suddenly but gently places a hand on yours. Please remain calm. He puts a carefully restored rare component in your hand. This can help you. Jean-Mi waits for you to fall still. Then he leans back a little, revealing some of the strange intimacy of the moment. For now, our work is concluded. He meshes his fingers again and bows with a small head bob, but you are welcome any time. Thank you. Of course. His manner seems to have returned to something more businesslike. A humble man who knows his customers' needs. You get up from the seat, a little dazed, and push away into the passage. Safe travels, Sleeper, Jean-Mi says quietly, placing the promised list in your hand as he placing the promised list in your hands as he leads you back into the station. You leave dazed, unsure of how you feel about the instances of this man's particular kindness, but most of all, haunted by the idea of the unseen processes that are running within you. Part of you does not wish to know anything further, to leave this place and never look back, and another is desperate to immediately retrieve every object on this list so that you may know what strangeness is happening within you. For now, you must steady yourself and find a way to continue. Seraphin comes to find you in your bunk. After Jean-Mi's assessment, you find yourself drifting back to the rig, in need of the familiarity and comfort of your own ship. Sleeper? He drifts in. You found an artificer? He hovers by the door, looking concerned. Explain. You tell him about Jean-Mi, how he offered you repairs and ran an assessment of your frame. You describe the cramped booth, the articulated arms, the strangeness of seeing your own body atomized upon the terminal screen. Then you tell him that your body is changing, growing, in ways Jean-Mi cannot identify, that some process has started and you do not know where it will end. You mentioned umbilical ports and nodal points, trying your best to remember the details of things Jean-Mi asked you to retrieve. Seraphin grows pale and silent. He shakes his head when you stop talking. Lane, he frowns. That piece of shit has to be behind this. Jean-Mi didn't say. He wouldn't know, but I know that piece of shit. And I know he would do something like this.
We'll get what you need. We'll find that ship mind. He nods. A bit of work here and there, and we can make it to the Helion Gate and wherever else.
What about your stuff?
We'll do that too. He thumbs the wall. We're free, Sleeper. No one can stop us. Just say the word, okay?
He grows quiet. Or goes quiet.
Don't give up on yourself just yet. He smiles. Get up and get back to it.
And with that, he turns and kicks off down the corridor, disappearing from sight. You wait a little while, staring at the stained ceilings of the bungs, letting the thoughts settle in your mind. And then, when you are ready, you get up and leave, dazed but with a stony determination growing in your chest. Shit. So, yeah, we have some kind of insider process going on in our frame. Likely, here's my theory. My theory is this. Lane had some kind of implant on our frame that is slowly taking us over, and we're essentially going to act like Lane's extension so that he can further his influence. Kind of like how he was able to speak into our mind earlier, I feel like he wants to use us as some kind of extra arm of himself. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. Also, we got 2 points after our last deal, so we need to wait for 2 more points, and then we're set on that front. I could get another rally, but I want to get another skill, so I'll hold off on that. But right now, we need to rest. End cycle. There we go.
Sleeper, you got a moment?
Yujin finds you in your berth.
I have news about the
Alpha Lion. Oh, right. So Yujin's deal is that if I remember right, he wanted us to help him with parts extractions, and what it turned out to be was that there was a ship that had the capability to like do a huge jump in space to a very different part of the galaxy, far away from the belt. And if that ended up being true, that could mean a huge way for us to be able to get out of Lane's crosshairs, as it were. So that's what Aphelion was. Yujin has a seriousness you rarely see etched into the hard lines of his face. You remember the ship he is talking about, the Alphelion Path, the last surviving interstellar fraction ship in the Helion system, if his stories are to be believed.
I've been putting out some feelers for that little lost ship. Something came back.
He glances around, as if the information might leak to some unwanted source.
I've been working with a contract of mine, a signal chaser working out of the Hollow. He's got some promising data. He followed the trails from some hidden wreck we found, calculated the possible vectors. If this thing is still in the Helion system, it's in the shoals.
He folds his arm across his broad chest, watching your reaction. Do you trust this signal chaser? He sucks in a breath.
As much as I trust anyone. I haven't told him what exactly we were tracking, just gave him the signature. There's a chance he hasn't figured it out, but the problem is the signal chaser's gone quiet. Nothing for a few cycles now.
Yujin shakes his head.
Maybe he got wise to the value of what he found, but I doubt it. Maybe he just took a holiday.
Yujin grins at his own joke.
I reckon we pay a visit to the Hollow. Turn up my ghosted contact, see how viable the data looks. It looks good, we go out and get the ship. It doesn't, no harm, no foul, he shrugs.
What about Vesna?
What about her?
Yujin shrugs.
Maybe she's involved, I doubt it, but...
He holds up a finger.
Could she come sniffing around after the fact when a whiff of the data gets out?
He sighs.
That's what she does. That's all I've got, Yujin winks. Keep it between us, all right? We'll let the others know when we hit the Hollow. But remember what's at stake here, Sleeper. An interstellar ship. A ticket out of Helion.
He pats you hard on the shoulder.
It'll be worth it.
With that, Yujin drifts out of the bunks whistling. Yeah, so some kind of interstellar jump ship that lets us that could let us out of Hellion, which is basically just a new life, essentially. So a ship mind. So we need to, so essentially, I think what that is having us do is put our consciousness in the ship mind so that our body can get worked on. Which is a very scary prospect. Holy shit. Yeah, I can't really do all that work. All right, well, I want to help Femi with his thing, not Ferris, Femi with his thing first, and then we can figure out what we're doing on that front. It was, here we go, Cutter's End. So Femi's with us, Bliss. Yeah, since they've got getting a lot of the similar skills here. All right, let's go. And then we'll get another contract after that.
What the hell is happening out there?
Femi is up and out of his seat the moment Seraphim brings the rig to rest near the asteroid known as Cutter's End. The ominous name is one whose origin has become increasingly obvious as you approach through thick clouds of debris and chunks of rock, among which corroded remains of wrecks could be seen floating. Now, as you look out onto the splintered and terraced rock, you can't help but feel a slowly growing sense of dread.
Look there.
Femi comes close to the cockpit glass and points to the terraced quarry cut into the rock.
The mine's awake.
You look out and see the flickering lights, the glowing dock markers. Femi shakes his head.
That's not right. Neither is that.
Seraphim nods towards the asteroid, and you see a ship now tucked into the shadow of the rock, flashing its signal lights at you.
I'm guessing that's the crew we're looking for.
Visitors, huh? The voice wavers weakly as it comes through the ship's comms. Are you lot friendly? Seraphim glances back at you, raising his eyebrows. It isn't long before you and Femi are suiting up, an agreement having been made between Seraphim and the pilot of the other ship. Not the other ship. A man called Baird to meet in the neutral ground of the open space. Femi is silent, his anger evident in the way he forces his legs into the trousers of his suit. And then you are out, the vast shape of Cutter's Edge flickering with strange lights below you, and the pinpricks of the pilot suit lights slowly coming closer ahead. You two are sci-fi sore eyes. You see a crooked grin from Bayard. Bayard. It's gotta be Bayard. Framed in the lines of his ramshackled spacesuit. I love the look of this suit. What brings you to the arsehole of the Starward belt? His sharp eyes scan you and Femi, checking your suits and gear. We're looking for someone. Baird's eyes flick to you, and you notice a familiar reaction across his face. The acknowledgement that he recognizes you as a sleeper. You don't look like bounty hunters. Baird glances between the two of you and then smiles his crooked smile. Well, he kinda does. He nods at Femi.
You brought a freelancer out here.
Femi interrupts, his voice flat and direct over the comms channel.
Nia, where is she?
Bayard pauses, considering his answer. Whole crew's down on the throat of that thing. He jerks a thumb towards the asteroid. You're welcome to wait. The tone of his voice suggests the opposite. But I'll have you know, we look after our crew. So if you're here to settle a debt...
I'm here to take her home.
Femi cuts him off.
And I'm not waiting.
Thing is, big man, Baird grins. They're deep in the quarry on a tip-off. So unless you want to go chasing them around the dark maze of that place, you're shit out of luck.
How long have they been there?
Bayard looks over at the flickering quarry as if he forgot it was there. He looks back to you. Few cycles, he shrugs.
Enough!
Femi cuts in again.
Nia's been gone for longer than that. You were lying to our faces.
Femi moves closer to Baird.
And we know that rock has claimed more crews than any other.
Baird's smile fades. No need for accusations. Who's to say they aren't trying to jump our claim?
Forget this.
Femi turns and heads back towards the ship. Baird smiles at you. Big man seems techie. He squints at the rig. He's gonna get you in trouble. Techie, not Tetchy? I've never heard that word. Baird retreats to his ship, and you to yours.
We need to go in.
Femi is impatiently gathering his tools and loading them into the airlock.
Right now.
What's Baird hiding?
Who cares? These idiots clearly think they are onto something and they are desperate to keep it to themselves. What matters is our ingress.
Femi grabs a cutting torch from the rack.
There's a borehole on this side of the rock. Could get us in under the radar. Or we dive right down the main shaft.
Femi meets your eyes.
I'll leave the call to you.
Bliss arrives at the airlock and stares at Femi's angry tool gathering. Let's keep cool heads. They glance at you. That rock looks dangerous enough, even when you're thinking straight. Femi ignores them. You get ready to depart, well aware that you are heading into a situation you don't quite understand.
Oh God, Bliss! Oh no!
Okay, so borehole. Oh, map borehole, spelunking. What about just straight down the shaft? Our rolls are not good for either of these. Well, for this, my rolls are good. Femi's rolls, he's fine. Bliss, Jesus, they have got bad rolls today. I should have taken off some stress with rolls before, but I didn't want to take too long. All right. Well, we got some positive rolls here, but what are we looking at this way? Are these roughly the same amount of time it takes? Yeah. Ugh. I don't think I'm even gonna try. Well, I could try with Bliss's rolls, but they double negative modifier on these things. So, but even then, Bliss's rolls are not the strongest. Yeah, might as well try. Yeah, bound to happen. Making some progress at least. All right. There. You have felt the rumbling growing as you descend into Cutter's Edge, but no one has wanted to bring attention to it. Now, floating in a cavernous, rock-walled passage, it is impossible to ignore. There's something out there, Bliss's voice crackles over the comms. Something moving. You squint down the tunnel, beyond the limits of your suit's lights. You swear you see something flickering there, in the unseen passage beyond. There is a strangeness to the mine, to its flashing lights and empty conveyors, running on some residual power. From what Femi has told you, it wasn't always like this. Cutter's End, a fearsome reputation as dark as a dark and deadly maze. A ripped open rock not worth the trouble of its corroded salvage. Now it's a moving maze, its automated systems given a new, faltering life, brought back from hundreds of cycles in the shadows. And one of those systems is rumbling through the dark ahead.
Let's keep moving.
Femi passes you in the passage.
We don't need to wait.
Take it slow, Femi.
We are too far behind. We need to catch up.
Femi glides ahead, the beams of his suit lights painting the rock walls of the cavern a pale gray. Femi's lights reveal an intersection, another tunnel cutting across this one, offering 3 routes ahead. Suddenly, you are blinded by a wall of light beyond the intersection. The rumble is everywhere, shaking dust and rock off the walls in dense clouds. Squinting into the light, you see a ring of lamps, and between them, the grinding maw of some terrible machine. It bears down on the crew, grinding through debris. Rush past. Hey! You kick off hard and angle yourself towards the space between the machine and the other passage. You see the others following suit, pushing hard for the rapidly closing gap. You slip through in a hail of stone, the rumbling shaking your entire frame. You slam into the stone wall of the passage and cling to it as the rumbling grows and fades, signaling the passing of the machine.
You good?
Femi's voice is broken up by gasps of air. You turn to see him staring into the dark, shaking his head. What the hell was that thing? Bliss's breathing matches Femi's. It tried to eat us.
We need to keep going.
Femi is dusting off his suit.
That mining machine must be keeping Nia's crew down here. We have to get past it.
Keeping them down here, or your mind drifts to the worst option. Can any crew really hope to survive all this?
When they woke up this place, they woke up that machine.
Femi starts to move down the passage.
It's running on old programming. It's not hunting us. It's not smart.
Femi turns back to face you, his eyes ringed with fatigue and stress.
We can beat it.
You hope he's right. All right, what do we have? Ooh, a modifier for me. Oh. I am having so much stress happen to us, huh? God damn, our roll outcomes this session have been really bad. Like, cartoonishly so. Ah, 2 6s and a 2. 5 and a 1. 2 and a 1, Femi! God damn it. This is cartoonishly bad. Okay. All right. Okay, if I can just get another positive out of this. Just one more positive. Please. Well, max stress, but we got it.
To me, Sleeper.
Femi beckons you over to a section of the cavern wall. You glide over and immediately spot what he has found. There's a large passage splitting off from this one, but it is not the passage itself that is of interest. It is the remains of a barricade, freshly welded, that draws your attention.
They came through here.
Femi's eyes flick over the ruins.
They tried to keep it out.
You look at the fresh cuts in the wall, the stone gouged out, the crumpled metal bent and crushed, and most tellingly, the flattened remains of a welding torch embedded into the rock. The crew took a stand in this very place. You reach down and put a hand on the remains of the torch. Nia was here. Then you feel it, the rumble through the torch, through the rock wall. You look up at Femi and he sees it in your face. The machine is coming.
Go.
Femi meets your eye.
Get safe.
He looks over your shoulder and suddenly he's bathed in the blinding light of the machine's lamps. No way, we stay together. You go to protest, but Femi kicks you in the chest, sending you spinning away, out of the path of the machine. By the time you catch yourself on the cavern wall and turn, you see Femi there in the middle of the passage entrance, lit white with the lamps. He waits, agonizingly long, until he knows the machine is coming for him. Then he kicks off hard and glides into the dark. The machine rumbles through in a hail of rock and dust, and you follow after it, batting away chunks of stone. You are slowed by the debris, and the machine pulls out ahead, rumbling endlessly onward, onward through the tunnels, through the rock and metal, and then it's gone. The cavern shakes, filling with dust, your vision gray. Your comms click and hiss, and chunks of rock thunk off the faceplate of your helmet. And then you see them, the faint lights of Femi's suits as he struggles through the dust.
We got it,
Femi says as he reaches you, his hands on your shoulders.
Somehow we got it.
It takes some time to understand what happened. As the dust clears, you find yourself at the lip of a shaft filled with debris, this huge pit thick with shards of rock. Must have been a refuse pit for the mine, a place to pipe the tailings, the waste. The machine went straight into this shaft, spinning into the open space and debris, shredding itself against a million sharp bits of rock. Looking down into the pit, your lamps illuminate a few pieces of the machine. The rest is surely down there, deep inside the dense debris cloud. It isn't long before Femi is calling you once again, this time to another, still complete barricade. A barricade over the door to a machine room, sealed and secure. The last retreat of the crew you followed into this nightmare. Now, I've max stress, so this is not gonna look very good for me. Even if we get good rolls. I mean, Femi still has 2 rolls and Bliss still has 1. Fuck. Well, they don't have as much stretch to accumulate as I do, so it's worth a try. Poor Bliss. How bad is it looking? Are all my dice gone? Okay, I have 2. Or I have only 2 gone. Better rolls this time, so that's a plus. Let's try this one. Oh, fuck. Well, Bliss is out. God damn it. I'm just getting, like, this is just a bad session. Like, I have no other words for it. This just turned out poorly for everybody. All right, let's try this then. There. Actually. One more cycle, and then we got this. Poor Bliss, I'm so sorry. Ugh. All right, 2 6s, at least finally some good results out of that, even if I've got shit on this. Ugh. There. As the barricade door is bent open, you are blinded once again by a wall of light. You and Femi raise your hands instinctively, squinting into the lamps and dust. You feel a flash of fear in the pit of your stomach, bracing yourself for what's to come. Femi? The voice comes crisp and clear over the local comms. What are you doing here? Nia drifts out of the light in an odd, dust-caked suit. She looks between the two of you with a blank expression, blinking rapidly. Femi stares at her, frozen for a moment, then rushes to her, wrapping her in a wide embrace. They float there in the light and dust, 2 bodies bound together. Nia pulls back. I don't understand. You followed me out here? She looks over at you and then back to Femi. How did you find me?
You left without telling me. What did you expect?
Femi glares at her.
You aren't ready for this.
Nia retreats further at Femi's words, slipping out of his reach. Femi. Nia shakes her head. After all these years, you have no idea what I'm ready for. Movement in the light catches your eye. Oh shit, we have an ad break about to start, so Pre-rolls for 1 hour, or pre-rolls for no pre-rolls for an hour after these 3 minutes. So get yourself some water, stretch, whatever you need to do, and we'll be right back, everybody. That snuck up on me completely. I was so invested. And we're back. Thank you for your patience, everybody. All right. So this is probably where Nia's crew is going to start a conversation with us. All right. A figure in a suit drifts out, hunched and clutching their abdomen. They turn to face Nia, and you see her lips moving as they speak on a private channel. You look over to Femi, but he is staring straight ahead, his eyes wide with anger.
You!
He points at the figure.
What kind of idiot are you, dragging my sister out here to this place? With that machine running riot?
He moves towards the figure.
Speak up! What were you thinking?
Nia blocks his path forward, getting between Femi and the figure. Femi, you meathead! She glares at her brother. This is my job! I brought them here! Femi, for once, falls silent. It takes a while to make the return trip back up through Cutter's End, especially with Nia's injured crewmate. As you ascend, Nia tells you the story of the job. Femi keeping his distance and leading the way in silence. The mining machine you faced was what she'd been looking to extract, a job she and Bayard had put together after meeting in the narrow escape. He knew a way to jumpstart the mine, and the access that would open up meant new salvage. So they were like, oh, we'll jumpstart the machines everywhere, and that'll jumpstart the mining machine, and that'll open up us to the possibility of getting more crew stuff done, like extracting more ore and getting more money. One of those pre-collapsed boring machines was worth major cryouts, the boring machine specifically, to any mining outfit in the belt, and Bayard had a contact who was ready to buy. It was going so well until Hirata here, Nia nods at the crumpled-looking crewmate, hooked the mining machine up to the main line. Something went in its automation core, and it lost its shit. The plan was to barricade it and put together a shock trap to fry the core. Nia looks ahead at the back of Femi's suit, far ahead up in the tunnel. But that's worthless now that my brother shredded the thing. He was just worried. Always is, Nia sighs, and you get the feeling that she is trying to resist the habit of bad-mouthing Femi. We're lucky you came. As you move through the facility, you notice most of it is dark now, the power from Bayard's jumpstart fading away to nothing. Soon, this place will be a quiet ruin once more. You ascend up through the quarry up into the open space where Bayard is waiting. Friend of yours. Bayard shakes his head at Nia. Maybe you could have warned me they'd be coming. Not something I knew. She looks at Femi, who had broken off from the group and is heading for the rig. My brother doesn't tend to give anyone a warning. I'll take them from here. Bayard puts an arm around Hirata to guide them back to the ship. Look, mate. Bayard turns to you. No hard feelings. Thanks for getting them out. Especially if you did screw the job while you're at it. He grins a crooked grin. Guess that makes it square. Bayard glides away towards his ship. I should ride back with them, but I'll see you in Flotsam. Nia gives you a warm smile. Thanks for helping my brother. I know he appreciates you, whatever he does or doesn't say. You watch her go, then glide over to the rig as the last flickering lights of Cutter's Ed fade. Alright, well, back to Flotsam. We need fuel. I need to get the stress off of me. When you arrive back in Flotsam, Femi rushes out of the ship. The moment the docking tunnel is connected, he is off out of the airlock and down the passage.
Go after him then.
Seraphin sighs, not looking up from his diagnostics. You find Femi in the passage between the docks, watching as Nia glides towards him. You catch a glimpse of Nia's face over his shoulder. She looks nervous, slowing her approach as she comes close to Femi, his considerable frame blocking the tunnel. Femi, Nia starts. Femi holds up a hand to quiet her.
I'm sorry.
His voice is flat, quieter than usual.
I'm the one who's sorry. I made the excuse to myself that I was trying to protect you.
Femi looks down.
But I was trying to control you. I've been suffocating you.
He meets Nia's eye.
I see that now. That it took something like this for me to see it is on me.
Femi's voice cracks and the tunnel suddenly feels small, intimate. He folds his arms, regaining his composure.
I understand if...
Shut up, you idiot! Nia violently embraces her brother, banging him into the metal wall. She laughs, wiping her eyes. Femi sniffs. I've had enough of your speeches. Nia smiles. Apology accepted.
It's not a speech.
Femi can't help but take his typical self-serious tone with Nia, but you see it makes her smile.
I have something I need to say. You are a powerful person, and I've been trying to curb that because it scares me. And it scares me how little it scares you.
He laughs in uncharacteristically light laughter.
But I'll stop placing those limits on you. In fact, I want you to have the ship.
Femi seems pleased that this stuns Nia into silence.
I can make my own way. Find work with crews.
He glances over his shoulder at you.
Perhaps Sleeper will take me on. But I need some time away from leading. From captaincy. While you need anything but...
He puts a hand on her shoulder.
The symbol crash is yours.
Nia sighs. Femi, you really need to listen more. I don't want your ship. It is her turn to be pleased with his shock. You're right. I am a powerful person, but Cutter's Edge showed me I am not ready to lead. I want to learn more, to work with a crew, but preferably not one I'm related to. She punches him on the shoulder playfully. Nia looks over Femi's shoulder at you. I was actually thinking Sleeper's crew might be the right fit. She flashes you a smile. You suddenly feel the attention of the moment shifted to you, and your apparent role in this family drama. Nia puts her hands on her hips. Well, Sleeper, what do you think? So I could either have Nia or Femi. We had Nia as a crew member before, near the beginning of the game, and she did a really good job. I want to take Nia. Nia nods. I'm honored, really. I know I will learn a lot from you. Femi turns in the corridor to face you, his face set in an intimidating glare.
You better take good care of her.
He smiles, but you can't help but take him seriously. How about we find somewhere to celebrate? Nia pushes Femi towards you down the corridor. Come on. Later on, you find yourself in the narrow escape, in a quiet corner with Femi. You see his eyes are on Nia, who is at the bar, trying to get the attention of the server.
What's the secret?
Femi turns to you.
How do you stop it weighing you down? Your crew, your connections, all those people that rely on you.
Femi frowns.
How do you bear the weight?
I don't carry it alone.
Femi nods. I have to get better at that. Asking for help.
He looks down at the table, smiling. He takes a long sip through the straw of his container, the last dregs of something amber and potent disappearing as he does. He looks up at you.
She's gone, isn't she?
You look over at the bar and can't see Nia amongst the crowd. You turn to Femi, confused.
She never was good with goodbyes.
He smiles.
She'll be waiting at your ship. Don't worry.
He sets down his drink.
Time I left too.
He squeezes your shoulder.
I've got things to work on. Look at yourself, Sleeper.
He pushes himself away from the corner and drifts out of the bar. You watch him, or look after yourself, Sleeper. Not look at yourself. God, I need to read before I speak sometimes. You watch him go, but one more body passing through the belt, trying to find a way to change the future. Hooray, we have a new crewmate. But boom, my stress accumulated and I have to repair myself again. Okay. We did get paid, so that's a plus. Oh God, max glitch. Can I use small components to get myself worked in? Okay, I can. So the difference is, wait. Oh, so proper dice repair doesn't give me as much glitch, but okay, I see what it is now. Jesus, yeah. So I'm gonna have a lot more glitch dice out of this. Ugh. Well, let's rest and recover, because we gotta get that stress down. Wow, I somehow failed at napping. Jesus, it is all just tits up on this. Let's get supplies and fuel. But at least we have fully repaired dice now and not any that are patchwork, which is good. Oh. Alright, well, let's get the stress down. Use my glitch dice for the stress, at least. I also saw that I got an achievement for getting a positive outcome out of using a glitch dice, which is pretty awesome. All right. Yeah, so Lane being on our trail isn't good. I'm gonna cover the stress, and then after that... Jesus Christ. Next cycle, we'll, I think we might head over to that gate to get that ship mined. Although we still need to, let me take a look. It was here. The scatter yards for both a ship mined and for cadet. Yeah, and then there's Dark Side. Greenbelt, the Hollow. Right. I'll rest up again. Because, one, to use my glitch dice, and two, to genuinely get that stress down. There. Okay. Can't take this recovery contract. Yeah, why not? Do that now. There aren't really many other things I can do with my dice rolls. They are bad. We need to eat. Let's get some food. I mean, we're swimming in money, basically, so we're fine. It's just, holy shit, my rolls. Ugh. Okay, map. Stress call from a lonely rock. We'll take care of this. And we'll go with Nia and Eugene. Let's go with that. You keep your hands where I can see them. The voice crackles over the open channel of your suit comms as you near the stranded rig. You slow your approach a little as you move towards the ship. Its shape lumpy and skeletal in the distance of the light sun, in the distant light of the sun. Isn't this a recovery job? Nia looks at you curiously. I was expecting a warm welcome. You look at the stranded ship ahead. Clearly, they are feeling a bit exposed. We're here to help. Well, I figured that, the voice retorts. Otherwise, I would have put a hole in that shiny rig of yours already. You arrive at the side of the rig, inspecting the damage as you do. Half the hull plating and big chunks of the internal structure seem to be missing, but you have a feeling that this is not what you are here to fix. The airlock opens, and you move inside, the interior all exposed in wires and metal framework. Or all exposed wires and metal framework. The systems wheeze and shudder as it cycles. Nothing of value here. So if you're looking to steal something, you're welcome to it. Wait! Sorry, I thought this was okay, no. I was like, is this another Citizen Sleeper 1 character that I see? No, it's not. Okay. Just 2. Yeah. All right. I was getting... it's because there have been a lot of reoccurring characters and I got excited. But holy shit, this design. Straight to business, I see. Ain't that what you're here for? Her face is as placid and unchanging as a rock. If you were expecting a tea party, you'll be sorely disappointed. Here's the short version of it. Engine's conked out on me, and I'm no engineer. Can usually get her going, but this time no dice. She looks between you and the rest of the crew. Surprised there's so many of you, to be honest. Her eyes stopped on Nia. Young, too. If age was a factor, you wouldn't be stranded. Wouldn't be stranded, now would you? Nia stares back. I can handle the job. Don't be so sure. Alma leads you towards the engine room. The layout of her rig much the same as yours. This girl is the sensitive type. You need to know how to handle her. The central corridor of the ship snakes in a way that isn't familiar to you, and you realize this rig is far more heavily modified than your own. Something that becomes all the more obvious when you arrive in the engine room. Rather than the rig's rig stock engine, a singular block and double turbine with feed lines between, Alma's engine is a mess of piping and feed lines, linking up multiple raw components welded to the interior frame of the room. Your eyes widen at the sight. Been adding to her since I was young. Alma smiles at the chaos. Might look like a mess, but she purrs when she's running. Nia is speechless. You aren't surprised. The engine is intimidating. That's about all of it. Alma gestures to the exploded engine. Get her running and you'll get your half of the haul. What's the haul? Alma glides over to a window set in the side of the engine room and points to the corroded remains of a facility deep in the asteroid's loose, dusty surface. That there's the haul. She taps on the glass. As good a find as I've seen. The hall's a building? Building and all that's in it. Alma screws up her face. What, you too good for scrapping? By rights, that building's mine. Scrapper's claim. Alma scratches at her mess of hair. But you help me get her running and you are welcome to take what you want from it. Up to a maximum of 50% raw mass, that is. We have to extract it ourselves? She looks you up and down and you feel the first acknowledgement of you being a sleeper. I doubt it'll trouble one of you. Anyway, you're leaving with nothing unless my girl here is back in shape by the time y'all are done. She folds her arms across her chest. So get to it. You turn back to the engine, your eyes tracing the madness of the interlocking systems. You are starting to have the horrible feeling that this contract is some kind of elaborate joke. All right, well, yeah, we better fix her stuff. Oh, God. Oh. God, I have really bad rolls to start. Yeah. Okay, but Nia can get to this, so she can get a positive result out of there. And then I'll try. Might as well try for that. Yeah, I didn't think so. And Eugene, you keep trying. Yeah, okay. We're getting good outcomes this time. Yes, okay. Some stress is accumulated, but that's fine. Like, this'll... There we go. You all gather in Alma's rig to see the engine tested. The engine room purrs and chitters. It seems to warm with the sound of the engine, with the polyrhythmic, that's the word, polyrhythmic vibrations that rattle through the open framework of the interior. You look over to Alma and you see her eyes are closed, a small tremble at the corner of her mouth. You look at the engine, Alma's engine, an object that you have come to respect over the past cycles, even if you haven't necessarily grown to love it. It is, as you see it now, a difficult thing to love. Whole parts of it make little sense, and its oldest systems, those now bypassed and made obsolete by newer additions, still somehow play an integral role you don't understand. It is unwieldy, and unnecessarily so, and the accumulation of parts and patches from its long service make it surprisingly fragile. Meanwhile, other sections have been welded and re-welded so many times that they are impregnable and will never be able to replace. It is uncooperative and prone to sudden outbursts of cooling fluid or even fuel. It is restless and will begin to leak when left idle for too long. It is always too cold or too hot, thanks to the coolant in the fuel, and it is hard to predict which it will be at any given moment. And yet, despite all this, it is an object you feel close to, that you feel a kinship with. Because in the end, you too are an accumulation of broken parts, long outliving their operational limits. You too are a machine that has become a story, and a story that has grown beyond the ability of others to understand. That's the job, Sleeper. Alma approaches you from the other side of the room, and you know where the payment is to be found. I believe that brings our business to an end. Alma scratches her hair. Unless y'all have something to add. What will you do now? I believe that's my business. She bristles at the question. I'll need to find somewhere quiet to resupply and so on. But I don't think you'd like my usual haunts. She gives you a sly look. I appreciate the assistance. You're welcome to take whatever you want from the hangar, if you haven't already. You see a knowing shimmer in her eyes. Now I must kindly ask you to leave my ship. You find yourselves drifting away from Alma's rig in a haze of thoughts. It's clear to you at this point that Alma's history is written all over this place. But more than that, well, you can't be sure. This story, it seems, isn't for you. You realize as you gaze at the broken remains of the facility that Alma never took any of her half of the haul. You turn back and squint at the cockpit of her rig. You see her there, looking out across this wasteland, still as a statue. It's an image that, as you load into the rig and begin the preparations to depart, will stick with you. One that, every time you enter the engine room of your ship, a room almost identical to the engine room of Alma's rig, will leap into your mind. A woman, floating above the wreck of what was once her home, looking for a reason to keep going. Well, that was done. Well, might as well end cycle and do another one of these. Just finish the extractions, because I didn't expect to get that done so quickly. That went really, really well. Hold on. 2 or 3, oh God. Wow. Okay, so she got a bad roll. There. Do I push? Probably not. There we go. You rest a moment, taking a break from dragging the plates you've cut across the asteroid's surface. You find yourself looking up towards Alma's rig, still there on the edge of the crater, and wondering if she's watching. With her engine fixed, you half expect her to leave immediately, but she remains there, on the horizon, unable to leave this place. As if in response, your comms channel buzzes. A nice pile you got there, Alma announces herself up on the open channel. We'll make scrappers of you kids yet. That scrap will earn you a pretty penny if you know where what you're doing, she continues. Holmes Rock, always a good place to offload. I'll give you that for free. You look at the stack of ragged torch-cut plates as they are loaded into the rig's cargo hold, and you have to admit, you do feel a little pride at the work done. Thanks. You earned it. You glance over your shoulder at the cockpit of Alma's rig, where you can see her watching. Hey, Forbidden, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. It has been a minute. Hope things are going all right for you. So what is this place? There's a click on the open channel as it closes, and Alma seems to have taken a moment to consider her response. But yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, it's been such a long time. Hope things are going all right for you, because it's been a minute since we heard from you. Hope things are all right. Because yeah, we're playing some Citizen Sleeper 2 right now, which has been a lot of fun. And being able to play this kind of story has been really intriguing, even if my dice rolls have sadly been really bad. It's like my Pathfinder luck has just suddenly leaked into video games now. If I start up another Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, I'd be very scared. She clears her throat. How about you tell me what you think, Sleeper? Considering there's a bunch of plates here. Solheim facility? Alma coughs and sputters. Oh, hell no. This place ain't old enough or solid enough to be from before the collapse. She sighs. Plus, those old corporate types preferred much grander projects than a tin-pot hangar on a dusty rock. Alma goes quiet for a moment, but you wait, getting the feeling there's more to be said. See the old arrays on the far side? You turn and look up the rock towards the broken frames and panels you can make out in the dust, catching the sun's weak light. Those were the first priority. Get power running. Recharge the sails for the old excavator, for the excavators, the welders. Turn the scrap into something livable. She falters and coughs. Look at them now. You see the tumbled down collection of panels. They look like they were scattered by a careless hand, discarded without much thought. The comms channel clicks off, and you see the distant silhouette of Alma drifting from view, out of the cockpit of her rig. You turn back to see the scrap that has been loaded into the ship, your half of the haul, though you suspect this place is more than just a haul to Alma. Alright, now we're done. Now we can go back to Flotsam. But yeah, to summarize for you, Forbidden, we are a sleeper. This is us, and we are essentially an artificial body that has an emulated real person consciousness in our framework, and we're on the run from a crime lord who has been tracking us for his own purposes. Yeah, Forbidden, if there's anything that I want to parse over to you, you need to check out the artist for this game. Guillaume Saint-Jean is his name. Goes by Blacky-san on most of his socials, and his art is stellar. All the characters' designs in this game are just something that really needs to be spread as far and wide as possible. I really like this person's art. So yeah, we are on the run from a crime lord, as we are also figuring out that something is wrong with our artificial body, that we're getting glitches and we're having patches of unconsciousness hit us. So that's our situation right now. So what we also found out was that this very process is something that we can get kind of looked at in more detail, but we need a component here to put our consciousness into while our body gets looked at. So yeah, it's a rough deal, but it's really good because this game's really well written too, and I have to say that I really find myself tested a lot more in this game versus the first one, because the first game, while really, really great on its own, ended up with what I could only call a severe overpowered building situation by the end. You know what I mean? Like whenever you build your character in an RPG of any kind and you become so overpowered by the end that any challenges that were presented early on become a non-issue, that's what this game, I feel, does away with. However, I will still recommend the first game highly because it's a story that is told exceptionally well, and I would 1000% recommend on that merit alone. And the other reason is while the game at the end of the first does get easier mechanics wise with how it works, it still is just worth experiencing, period, because it's such a unique system. Because you know how in most RPGs when you deal with dice rolls that a lot of them happen as you're going through an action? These are the rolls that you tend to get in a day. It'd be like the equivalent of getting your D20 rolls preemptively and then using those rolls throughout the day instead of, oh, suddenly you have to roll for a Constitution saving throw. So right here, if I wanted to work hydroponics, I use one of my pre-rolled rolls and then I just do that. Think of it as like a randomized version of a spell list that you use throughout the day. That's the best way I could describe it. Like how clerics or other spellcasters would have to prep their spells for whatever they need to use them for the day. Your dice rolls are like that, but a randomized version of it. It's such a cool idea. All right, so if I remember right, we were looking to go to here, but I want to get some fuel, so I'd say less. I will ask that you remind me at the end of the stream so I can look into it and download it. Oh yeah, they're like highly recommended. It's such like, I'll make sure to remind you because this genuinely, these two games are totally worth experiencing, especially back to back as the second game does actually feature characters from the first. I won't say who. I said it in the stream before, but for your sake, I won't say who specifically now. It's just, it's such a special type of game, you know? Like, I've not encountered a game that's really done this kind of storytelling before. It's so nice. Let's see, so I don't really need to repair my dice at all, but I should. I also like the little details that since I accumulated so much stress and glitches, that now my dice have little lines through them to represent the damage done. But yeah, the context of the world of Citizen Sleeper is that this is a world where corporate rule has repeatedly mined out and destroyed itself throughout the different areas of space, and people are just kind of left picking through the scraps of what were once gigantic corporate structures. That is the best way I could describe Citizen Sleeper's world, and it is fascinating to see. Like this is essentially end stage of late capitalism. Like, yes, money still rules, but corporations are so... It's like... It'd be like the equivalent of seeing one of these mining facilities that we go to, and it has the Walmart logo on it, and it's just dilapidated and gone because Walmart's just not a thing anymore. And then you've got like a whole bunch of other corporations that are doing their own things off to the side. And fun thing is, there's even a full-on corporate warfare right now. Like, there's a straight-up big corporate warfare happening because I'm guessing they just have so many conflicting projects and ideals. So, yeah, that's what the situation is right now. And as I say, it's fascinating. Like, this is a fascinating game that I would 1000% recommend people try. If I do that, I don't know if we'll have any fuel left. Let's... Okay, let me take a look at my tasks. So, Hexport, gotta investigate the scatter yards, go to the hollow. Eugen, okay, so Eugen wants to find that, and diagnosing our frame. Yeah, Hellion Gate. So what I think I should do is go to Farspindle, resupply and refuel, and then head over to the Hellion Gate. And if there's anything that I will also absolutely say I adore about this game is just how simple in scope traveling and menuing in this game is. Like, its interface is just clean. Completely clean. Alright, so we'll refuel here. There it is. Because the other difference between the first game and the second game is that the first game you were centralized to one location, whereas the second game has you traveling a lot more. Which makes sense given the context of the story that we're experiencing. Alright, Hellion Gate. Okay. Solheim Records, here we go. Power up the archive. Oh yeah, look at those rolls hit. Okay, customs halls, anything new here? Right, I tried here before. It's nice that it did save my rolls though, that's nice. Oh, and I can salvage fuel here. Right, I forgot I could do that. Good. I'm guessing it takes 8 to get back over to Flotsam. Yes, okay, so I can get back there in one trip, no problem, buy more fuel, and then we can go back to our business and probably go to the scatter yard after that. And as you can hear, this music is just stellar. Stellar music, too. The only thing that I would probably say as far as any kind of heads up with this game is that there is no voice acting in it, so it's a lot of reading, which thankfully the game is very good at breaking up dialogue so you're not just reading a big wall of text, but it can be a bit dense. It's essentially like a book delivered through the medium of a video game, so that's the one thing that I'll prep you for. Hence why I've been doing this kind of narration thing that throughout it. In the dark and airless void of the archives, something flickers. You've been working in the dark, picking through the guts of corroded machines, skimming the data in their corrupted memories, digging through a graveyard in search of ghosts. But now, with another flick, the place begins to come back to life. All along the rows of benches, some of them crushed by fallen ceiling panels, terminals begin to flicker into uneasy life, a cacophony of distorted sounds accompanying machines, and some of them immediately glitch and spark. One says that it needs a Windows 17 update, even though now everybody's on Windows 24. Did you do this? You stand frozen as the archive glitters around you with a million shipment entries. The stream of information is overwhelming. Node graphs drawing out routes and inventories, tracing a web around you in pale cyan. This kind of makes me wonder if whether or not they'd use Excel here still, plotting graphs and that. Suddenly, they all shut off, the terminals blinking out together. I love good Cosmo futuristic soundtrack and giving your voice acting these. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. I'm doing my best here. Thank you. Suddenly, they all shut off, the terminals blinking out together, leaving a single translucent screen glowing softly in the dim room. And in that dim room, drifting towards you out of the dark, you see a figure. Is this what you are looking for? The voice crackles aggressively through your suit's local comms. Who are you? It's Junie! Oh! Wow. So, Junie's actually a character we met near the beginning of the game. She's been wanting to try to find old Solheim records because she wants to try and prevent some kind of potential future collapse by studying history of Solheim, which is one of the corporations that had fallen into disrepair, hence the term the collapse. Sleeper? Is that you? You hear Junie's voice, now tense and unsure. She stops beside the single online terminal, her suit form lit in pale light. Junie! You hear the smile in her voice. Good to see you again. She pauses and glances around, though the venue is a little unexpected. What are you doing here? I'm searching these archives too, although slightly less forcefully than you. I did have this whole speech prepared for whatever salvager was ripping through these archives so messily, not to mention aggressively. But now that I know it's you, well, I'm just glad to see you. Although you really need to be more careful. You could have taken the entire archive down the way you were working with it. These machines are decades old. You can't just rifle through them like they were a scrap pile. They're not built like Nokia phones, Sleeper. You can't just toss them around. They can't break everything in half just by looking at them. I saw the pattern of your queries. A prime ship mind equipped ship. Still operational at the collapse. Last located in the region around Hellion Gate. You can feel how pleased she is with herself from here. That about right? Nicely done. She nods. Would you expect anything else? That's why I did the hard work for you. Junie beckons you over to the lone lit terminal. You drift over and see a single point. A faded transit trail beside it. Sunward from Hellion Gate. Something like this, maybe? She smiles and steps aside so you can see the screen. You check the info pane beside the map. Ship mind in use. Abandoned by all hands after the collapse. Tantalizingly in reach. Something like that. She shrugs. Well then, it's yours. But Junie turns, and in the glow of the terminal meets your eye with complete seriousness. The question is, what do you want it for? I love how Junie was judging so gracefully at the start of this encounter. Yeah, all the characters' writing is just sublime. Why do you want to know? I want to come with you. Junie gives you a strong look. Do you know how often someone gets out one of those old Solheim wrecks? They are more trouble than they are worth. But contained inside, there's an entire history to uncover. Undercover and take, you mean? This isn't like the last time, I promise. I have no interest in the ship mine. But everything else, it's too big a chance to pass up. I know I can't force you or trick you into taking me. That's why I wanted to offer you this instead. She indicates the terminal, still showing the ship's final resting place. I hope that maybe, if I helped you find what you needed, it would show I can be trusted. I trust you. She smiles. Thank you for saying so. I'll send the coordinates to your ship, and I'll be hanging around the gate until you're ready to leave. She shifts in front of the terminal and plugs in her deck, tapping away at rapid speed. If you need to go get supplies in the spindle or anything else, fine. She folds her arms. I'll wait. But if you go on this job without me, I'll get the message. She shrugs. You won't see me again. With that, you leave her in the archive, extracting data as you ascend back to Hellion Gate's upper levels. Okay. So now, oh, it's just right there. Yeah, that works. Okay, so taking Junie. Now, do we take Bliss, Eugene, or Nia? This is tough. Because well, Junie would be good to have, especially with the bonus that she's got. Because much like us, each of our crewmates has their own stats that are good for particular jobs, and the plus next to them means that they have a positive modifier with them. I think we take Bliss. Let's do that. And I still love that we get to see their portraits a lot more. I just love looking at this art. Okay, so this is our main guy. This is Seraphin. He's been the helper that... He helped us escape from the... He helped us escape from the crime lord that was trying to sort of keep us under his thumb. We're too far sunward, Sleeper. Seraphin turns back in his chair to look at you.
I don't like it.
It's hard to not agree. Or it's hard not to agree. The coordinates Junie found have drawn you out of Hellion Gate and almost out of the belt completely, into the soft rubble-strewn transition with the Hellion system, to the edge of Conway-controlled space. Yeah, because the belt is currently at the edge of a area of space that two corporations are fighting an all-out war in, so people are kind of keeping their eye on that. That's why the ship is likely to be untouched. Junie surveys the wreck coldly. It's too far sunward for the belt traffic to run into. And now, with Conway drones patrolling the edge of the belt, it's even less attractive as a salvage site.
Lucky us.
Junie eyes you, trying to detect if you are being sarcastic or not. I doubt anyone has been here in decades, so actually I would say we are lucky. Any drone signals?
Nothing I can see, but I don't dare reach out too far.
Seraphin flicks a few switches.
We should assume they're out there.
As you look out at the twisted wreck, you swear you see a red light, blinking between the stars. You exchange a look with Seraphin.
He has seen it too. We better get to it, Sleeper.
Seraphin begins unclipping from his seat.
Quickly and quietly.
From what I understand, Conway drones run on automatic until they detect something of interest. Junie unclips too. So as long as we are quiet, we don't have to contend with an operator. Just automated search sweeps. So if we are detected, we will be killed by machine, not a person. Bliss shakes their head. I don't find that very reassuring. They get up out of the corner seat and glide towards the back of the ship to get suited up. You drift out of your chair and head towards the airlock, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. Being here is a risk. You know that. But you need the ship mind. So no matter what happens, you won't be leaving here empty-handed. All right. Oh, God, Bliss. Oh, your rolls. Oh. Okay, well, please have good modifiers. Oh my God. Okay, shit. Oh God, and my rolls get docked too. God damn it. Okay. Wow, if I ever did another playthrough of this in the future, I would really, really, really like to pick something different than the extractor build that I got. Man, I love the story and character dialogues, and you were kidding about the art in this game. I'm totally buying. Yeah, awesome. I'm glad I'm spreading the agenda of this game far and wide, because it deserves it. You love to see it. Ugh. Do I do a push? They could try for a positive. Let's try. Wouldn't hurt. Didn't think so. Oh, and they got 2 stress out of it? Oh. I'll try again with Bliss, but I'm not... Okay, they got it, but a stress hit them. Yikes, yeah. So the way that this works is that, so your dice rolls have different outcomes of depending on what type they are in the number. You have 1 to 2, which is a negative or a neutral effect. And then you have a 3 and a 4, which is negative, neutral, positive. A 5, which is neutral or positive, and then 6, which is guaranteed success. And how the contextualization of it is this. A negative means that you not only fail at your task, but you get something, but a bad result happens. So like stress accumulation, energy depleted, or what have you. Neutral is you did everything as is needed and it works out. A positive result is you not only succeeded in your task, but you got a little extra thing done on top of that. It's like getting a natural 20. So getting a 5 downgraded to a 3 isn't great, but it still leaves a 50% chance of neutral. So I'm at least going to try my 2 5s on this, but I'm gonna end a cycle after this, because fuck me, that's bad. And we get a good roll out of that. So yeah, despite the fact that you do get your rolls like out of the gate with this, there is still a depth to how you actually apply your rolls and strategizing to make sure that your rolls are good. Okay, that's a cool idea. It's such a cool idea. And what's cool is that the developer of this game has gone on record as saying that they just want to do a full-on tabletop system after they had finished this game. Come on. Yes, okay. Nah, I'm not keeping that. I'm resting. We're going through a cycle. Yeah, I can't do anything else besides sleep. Okay, rolls. 5-3, 5-3. Much better. Yes, I will take that. And we're not in any kind of cycle-based time limit here, so we're actually pretty good. So Junie, you can do a 5 to get a 6 here. Yeah, and then Bliss. That will round it out beautifully. Junie leads you deep into the wreck, through crushed and twisted corridors, floating panels and wires appearing suddenly in your headlamp like strange sculptures. Just as you begin to tire of the endless dark and the haze of particles washing over your suit, Junie leads you into a chamber where the ceiling is torn open to reveal the stars. At its center lies a cylindrical object, half your height but raised on a complex pedestal from which countless thick cables snake off into the dark like braided hair. One or two of them float freely, waving back and forth with glinting severed ends. So most of your rolls need to be strategic and roll of the luck without gaining negative results literally. Yeah, your negative result, think of it as kind of like when you wake up in a day and you do your tasks normally, but then other days you wake up and maybe you're groggy that day, or you just feel really exhausted for some reason, or you're hungover, whichever the two, and you just can't really perform what you normally do really well. You know, it doesn't take away the factor of luck within getting good results unless you get 6s really frequently. So luck is still a factor even if you have decent stuff ahead of time, because a positive result can still have a negative effect depending on the context of the thing you're rolling for. I don't remember exactly how it was in the first game because I streamed the first game over 2 years ago, I want to say, but it's still fascinating to me that they came up with a system of, yes, you have positive rolls out of this, but depending on the risk factor of the task, you can still get damaged, skill issue. So that's the other thing to keep in mind, is that just because you can roll positive on a task, the task themselves can have different danger levels from safe to risky to danger. And depending on that danger factor, your rolls could turn disastrous really quickly. So yeah, we had that earlier when we were trying to incite a mutiny, where I just kept getting bad roll after bad outcome after bad outcome after bad outcome. You can still get a 50-50 on the positive and negative, but that's still a 50-50 on a 2 or a 1. So yeah, it's really good stuff. Really interesting stuff. So it's one of those things where you get really used to it after you play around, especially when it comes to the things that are more low stakes, like trying to navigate the halls of a new station you're on to get your bearings and meet new characters, that kind of thing. So yeah, fascinating stuff. Really cool system that they've got here. One or two of them float freely, waving back and forth while glinting severed ends, but most of them disappear into the floor and walls, or twist and curve out of sight. Beautiful, isn't it? Junie stares at the prime ship mind, the stars reflected in her faceplate. Not bad. Junie glides over to the pedestal, pushing her way delicately through the wires. As she takes out her terminal and looks for an access port, she talks softly, her voice carried through the suit comms. These cables lead off to every one of the ship's systems. Engines, life support, navigation, lighting, networking, Ethernet, water, internet. the coffee maker, you name it. Shipmind has hardwired access to all of it. To all of them. When an old shipmind like this is running well, the shipmind would distribute itself, some of its protocols running freely in different sections. It would be less like a single governing mind and more like a load of systems clumped together to form a complex living machine. Think of a plant rather than a being. A plant with incredibly rapid processing power and a much more accelerated response time than your average tree. You watch as she finds an access port and slips a cable inside, slotting a translucent screen onto the top edge of her deck. Let's see here. Junie's screen fills with bright scrolling data. Incredible. There's so much here. She hits a few keys. I'll start copying this over. It's everything I need. You watch as Junie starts rapidly tapping at her keyboard, her attention sucked into the data she is extracting. Wait for her to notice. You wait quietly in the ruined chamber, watching the stars through the ripped roof. You can understand Junie's insatiable curiosity. These wrecks were incredible. These wrecks are incredible, not were, are, we're here. Junie suddenly snaps out of her trance. Right, where were we? The shipmind. Let me check. As I thought, she sighs. So like I was saying, the protocols inside the shipmind are distributed. So when the shipmind is shut down unexpectedly, the protocols are rarely all contained in this unit. She places a hand gently on the cylinder. As is the case here, parts of it are trapped elsewhere, in the ship's system nodes. She taps a few keys, which is a problem.
There's always a problem.
Luckily, Junie turns back to you smiling. You have me. If we rip this thing out now, with parts of its protocols elsewhere, it's probably going to destroy itself the moment we turn it on. It doesn't matter that we are going to wipe the whole thing anyway. It'll be too late. The mind inside the shipmind will be broken. But if we find the nodes housing the distributed parts, power them up, and then disconnect them, the protocols will be set right back into the shipmind here, and we can take it out clean.
So how do we find the nodes?
We either ask the cradle very nicely, or we spend the next cycles following these cables to see where they lead.
I've got an incoming signal.
Seraphine's voice suddenly cuts through on comms, urgent and nervous.
If you're lighting up the systems and networks down there, time to stop.
You hear a click as Junie disconnects from the cradle, and the two of you exchange nervous looks, instinctively backing off from the shipmind. Suddenly, a faint red light glitters in the dark, beyond the broken ceiling. You hold still. The moment stretches out, and you hear Junie's breathing through the comms. The light flashes, pauses, and then fades. You take a breath. Too close. Conway drone. The Conway drone, Junie whispers, sniffing the network.
We're clear.
Seraphine chimes in again.
I've turned off almost all of the rig systems, but we need to be careful. Keep network activity to a minimum.
Understood, Junie cuts in. But we will need to access the networks to get the shipmind out quickly.
Then I hope you're feeling lucky.
There's a click as Seraphine closes the line. You and Junie look at each other again, and then at the shipmind, encased in its cradle, wrapped in cables. This isn't going to be easy. So think of this as just a really, really complex way of taking out a flash drive. Like, you know when you need to make sure that a flash drive's protocols are properly, you know when you need to click a thing to be like, hey, external storage, I click exit device, you know, something like that, and then it says, okay, you can take the external storage out now, and you do that. If you just yank it out normally, there's a chance that your data could get corrupted. It's like that. Gotta be a process to it. Thankfully, we have some really good fucking rolls, so I think we can be set. Also, an ad break's gonna start in the next 30 seconds, so, yeah, I think I might go ahead and start the ad break now, because I also need to hydrate. So, take these next 3 minutes to get yourself hydrated too, and make sure to stretch and, you know, do whatever you need to do during the 3 minutes, and then we'll have 1 hour of no pre-rolls. So, with that said, BRB, everybody. And welcome back from the ads. Hopefully you didn't get accosted too strong by those really weird was it State Farm or... Yeah, it is State Farm. Like, you know those State Farm commercials that feature Batman for some reason? Like Bateman and Batman? Hopefully you got back from those. Because I don't know about y'all, but I've been seeing those a lot. Along with that, I haven't seen it much lately, but if y'all ever seen that lotion commercial for gamers? Like, it's targeted towards gamers, and it's meant to be like some weird lotion that's supposed to help with erectile dysfunction. What the fuck is up with that? Have you seen those? I've seen that a lot, and it's really weird. It's like, what is that? What are you trying to say there, Twitch? But yeah, welcome back from the ads. So we've got a positive modifier that can give us two sixes and a 4, and then a positive modifier for Junie to get a 4. Sadly, Bliss does not look like they've got ones. Yeah, it's... What a bizarre AdSense. Like, I will say, though, that at least feels like it was made with some kind of intention, aside from those god-awful Hero Wars ads that you'd see on YouTube. You know the exact ones I'm talking about, right? Like the ones where it's like that one guy in the armor and it's like a weird number go up game that looks like fetish content at the start. God. Like, that's the kind of shit that gets people to start using ad blockers. Ugh, God. All right, let's get some rolls done. Okay. Oh, and as a heads up, if y'all enjoyed the music that I've got for my BRB and starting soon screen, if you do ! music, you can get the links to my friend Combo, who also did the starting soon music for my friend Lilith Vanille. He's a very talented composer and recently just released a album on his SoundCloud, I believe. So, oh, and it's also on his, he also has an album on his YouTube as well. He's a very talented composer, and I recommend you go check him out. Yeah, good positive results. Look at that, halfway progressed already. Okay. Junie, you get a 4. Oh. That was, okay, so we just got a bad roll there. Okay, how about me? They were extracting all the files without causing the safety protocols to take effect. Then the patrol scout encounter. Now that's some serious writing. I honestly think this would turn out to be an amazing series if a company had tried to pick this one up. Although again, brother, your reading skills and voiceover making this game really worth experience. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That really means a lot. Cause like something that I've always thought about trying is audiobook reading. So I've thought this is just kind of fun practice, but also I wanted to really share this game with people because this is such a different game than, you know, what's typically thought of for CRPGs, because this combines aspects of CRPG, visual novel, and tabletop systems into this really interesting sci-fi package, and it's so good. It's just a fascinating game. All right, and okay, that's fine. We can take a little bit of stress. A win-win in my book. Yeah, absolute win-win. And at the end, thank you for what you said. It really means a lot. Let's see. Yeah, we're ending the cycle. Poor Bliss. They just just don't really have any. The modifiers here are just not good for them. But our rolls are looking really good, so that's fine. We can do this well. Yeah, this is easy. This is very easy. All right. New location, starboard node, port node. So we got to get these nodes. Okay, Bliss can get some good rolls here. They did it, and Junie can get this one. Yeah! So that's node 1. I've got a positive modifier, so I'll do this. I'm gonna save Junie 6 in case there's another roll to make. It's ready, Sleeper. Junie's voice comes quietly through your comms. You look over to her, floating beside the cradle, uplit by the pale screen of her deck. She gives you a reassuring nod. You turn to the prime ship mind, now floating above its cradle, the final node disconnected and the locks released. You glide over and gently grab it, the worn metal casing gleaming in the dim light. As you do, you feel a strange sensation of something moving around inside, like a creature in a box, the weight shifting this way and under the pressure of your grip. Or this way and that under the pressure of your grip. It suddenly dawns on you that Jean-Mi plans to put you inside this strange device, to hold your mind there while he investigates your body. The thought prompts a shiver. That drone's still sniffing around, Sleeper. Seraphine's voice crackles on the comms. So if you have what you need, let's go. You feel Junie's hand fall on your shoulder. Come on, Sleeper, don't overthink it. She pats you gently. There will be plenty of time for that later. You look up and see a faint red glittering in the dark beyond the broken ceiling. Time to leave. We did it! All right. Now let's see. -5 stress during travel. Okay, arriving back at the Hellion Gate, as lonely and cold as it is, feels like a relief. There was a tension in the rig as you came back out of the inner system, a watchfulness of errant signals and glinting red beacons that choked the conversation. But now, floating in the comforting shadow of this vast ruin, the sense of relief is palpable. That's one prime ship mind, condition unknown, retrieved. Seraphine runs the engine shutdown protocols as he speaks. I mark that as a success. Agreed, thank you. Seraphine waves away your thanks. We're a crew. We work together. Sleeper, can I speak with you? Junie asks from the back of the cockpit. What is it? She leads you out of the passage, tucking herself against the wall. She looks small, even in this compact space. Thank you for taking me with you. I hope I proved I am trustworthy. Well, thank you for helping me. That's what I promised. She looks at the floor. In my time in the belt, I haven't found it easy to make friends. She falters, tripping over her words slightly. But you, Sleeper, I hope you'd consider me a friend at least. I would. She can't help but smile. I'm glad. Then I would like to ask you something. She pauses. Would you consider taking me with you on the rig? She blurts out. And then, before you can answer, I think I would be of help for your diagnostic. And in the meantime, I can take a look at the ship mind. Make sure it is ready and... Yes, Junie, you can. She stops, speechless. She looks down at her hands and then back up at you. Okay, she smiles. Thank you, She looks down again. I'll find a bunk. As she quickly glides off down the corridor before you can say anything. And she quickly glides off down the corridor before you can say anything further. Another straight collected. Seraphine puts a hand on your shoulder. Quite the refuge we're building here. He gives you a sly smile. You don't approve? Seraphine shrugs. You know, I've actually started to warm up to this one. She's all right by me. He smiles and pushes off from your shoulder, gliding towards the engine room. You look towards the bunk, but Junie is already out of sight, likely unpacking already. The ship is getting a little crowded. You're starting to realize you like it like that. At the very least, she'll prove invaluable when you get to Flotsam and have to deal with Jean-Mi. Perhaps she'll even have a read on the old man. You pause for a second, appreciating the warmth, the hum of the rig and its inhabitants. The ship, you think, is starting to feel like home. Ah! God, the writing in this game is so good. so nice. All right. Well, we need to refuel because we got to get back to Flotsam. So I think what we can do is I want to at the very least go back to Jean-Mi and see about what's happening with our artificial body. But then after that, I think I might have to end, sadly, because we're closing in on the 3-hour mark and I do have to wake up early. But I want to at least get that done. Because I really, really, unfortunately, have to wake up early. It sucks, but gotta love the work times. All right. First, though, I do want to buy some fuel. Fill fuel. Wrong thing. There we go. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Start action.
Come, let's get you inside.
Jean-Mi swings open the creaking, corroded door beside his booth.
Such a prize must have levied a heavy cost.
You glance beside you to Junie, who insisted she came along, and on not letting the prime shipmind out of her sight.
Your friend, too?
Yes, please come in. Jean-Mi beckons and then turns back and disappears inside. So, yeah, this is the guy that offered to figure out what's wrong with us, while essentially putting our consciousness in a big old storage drive. Junie squints at you. Are you sure you trust this one?
I don't have a choice.
She sighs. I suppose not. Lead on then. You both squeeze through the door and drift down into the workshop. You're aware of Junie's eyes wandering across the piles and piles of tech on either side, and you wonder if she recognizes anything among the junk. Maybe she recognizes a stray server that might have an old Minecraft server on it. Plenty of those RTX mods.
Sit, sleeper.
Jean-Mi is already at the chair, arranging his array of articulated arms.
And I'll take that shipmind if you please.
He has been very nice, but I am very nervous about hesitate. Junie puts a hand on your shoulder. Don't worry, I'm right here. You hold the shipmind in front of you and give it a small push so it floats gently over to Jean-Mi. He grasps it with both hands and takes it into a neat little work table in the back you didn't see before, where thick cables float lazily, tethered to the wall. You slide into the chair, hooking your feet behind the bottom bar to hold yourself in place, and watch as Jean-Mi begins connecting up the prime shipmind. A tremble of nervousness runs along your arms. Suddenly, you feel Junie's hand clasped around your own. You look over to her face. Is this okay? I want you to know I'm here.
Thanks.
She nods silently. Jean-Mi, Junie calls across the room. You're going to need to talk us through what you're about to do.
Of course.
Jean-Mi is slotting an arm-thick cable into the shipmind.
A little patience, please. All of this is very technical.
He turns to face you both.
What is your friend's name, sleeper?
Junie. Junie answers you. It answers for you. And I can tell you that you are using a Solheim-built data cradle, modified to handle a prime shipmind. She rattles off at speed, which will work as long as you manage the data flow through a polymer-clad overflow cable looped into the asynchronous cortex cache.
Yes.
Jean-Mi eyes her, a small smile crossing his lips.
As I said, technical.
What will happen to me? Jean-Mi refocuses on you.
It depends,
he says while preparing the far end of that thick cable.
What you're referring to as me. The problem we have is with your frame, your body. Atypical alterations, biosynthetic recoding, unusual growth.
Jean-Mi shakes his head.
From the diagrammics I've seen, these are not typical of frames, even those that have been rebooted such as you. Or rebooted as you have. In order to investigate safely, I must transplant your emulation. In basic terms, your mind. But in reality, not so basic.
He smiles in an attempt at reassurance.
Your emulation is an emulation of a human and a human mind cannot be separated from its sensorium. Sensorium? Sensorium. The mind-body paradigm has long been disproven. Cognition has physical basis. So I must first distribute the emulation between your hardware and the primed ship mind. The hardware will co-run the emulation, like the two lobes of a brain. He puts his hands together as if in prayer, and then slowly separates them. The motion makes you feel sick. So yeah, the deal with being a sleeper is that you were human at one point, and either through debt or some kind of deal, your human body is put on a sleeping, like, storage spot. Like, your body's just somewhere within a corporate holding place, essentially, and your mind, your consciousness, is emulated into the artificial body of a synthetic body with synthetic organs, skin, and functions, and that is what a sleeper is. That's why you're called sleepers, is because your real self is sleeping somewhere. And it's called an emulation and not a copy because despite it being the consciousness of a real person, you don't really have full memories of everything you experienced. Like, here's an example. Think of it as like you remember eating a really, really good apple when you were a human, and you have a concept of that memory as a sleeper in the artificial body, but you don't remember how it tasted, or you don't remember the color of it. You just remember that you had it and it was good. That's what it's like to have your mind be emulated as opposed to full-on copied. Because there's just some stuff lost in translation of taking a human's consciousness and putting it into a body like this. So yeah, it's also part of a reason why the corporations that control sleepers wanted this, is because they wanted people to not potentially get really, really existential and lose their work ethic, because sleepers are meant to be workhorses. So yeah, it's also why you have artificial organs, because while you don't need to breathe, having the sensation of breath at the very least keeps you grounded. So yeah, a lot of transhumanist themes in this. Really good stuff. All right, continuing on. Then, for a short period, I will disconnect the two. In those moments, you will, in a sense, be in two places at once, though each lobe will be partial. Too long in this state and the two partial emulations would decay, but each disconnect will allow me a short period of full access to your entire frame and its base system language. I'm skilled in Java, I know what I'm doing. I hope this is understandable. Jean-Mi gives you a serious look. One of the most curiously human aspects of sleeper experience is that you too do not inherently understand or conceive of the systems that allow your existence. What are the risks? Jean-Mi pauses, considering his words. The risks are many and severe. Emulation collapse is chief among them. This would be terminal. But counter to this, I do not believe the changes to your frame are in a positive direction. Jean-Mi clasps his hands. The greatest risk is to do nothing. We have little choice but to proceed. Now, before I connect your frame, let us activate the ship mind. Jean-Mi gestures to Junie. Please, if you would like to come with me and oversee this process, I would be pleased. Junie shoots you a reassuring glance and then glides over to the ship mind, obscuring your view of it. You hear a quiet conversation between the two of them, their silhouettes lit by the flickering screen light of scrolling lines of code. You take a calming breath, but are instantly aware of how superfluous that action is when your frame requires no oxygen at all to function. There's a certain sensation that accompanies such thoughts, a jarring disconnect, like when descending a staircase, your foot expects a step and finds void instead. You try to calm the growing anxiety as Junie and Jean-Mi assess the mind. Both. The ship mind is pristine. Junie turns back and drifts towards you. Our care in its extraction seems to have paid off. Junie smiles. This is good news. Junie is indeed right. You have done well. Jean-Mi approaches. I am, however, seeing only mirror traces of the protocol that the ship mind was designed to house. The one that ran the ship was installed in.
I would expect to see it in full. He angles his head and lifts his shoulders in a slow shrug, but protocols are not easy to track. In the end, it only saves us the step of extracting it from the mind. Instead, I simply wipe the traces. Jean-Mi stops beside you. A protocol, Jean-Mi adds, is not like an emulation, like your emulation. It has no integral physical elements. It is data only, and therefore could be anywhere in that ship. In the end, its absence does not concern me. It concerns me. I understand, Sleeper. But it is remarkable we have this ship mind at all. This is our opportunity. Jean-Mi lifts the far end of the thick cable you saw earlier. You know this is the end that will connect to the port on the back of your head. Junie settles beside you again. She gives you a silent look. It's time. You turn to one side to allow access to the port, your eyes fixed on the far wall. You see something among the piled tech there that you hadn't noticed before. A small metal skull-like head, like that of a doll. You frown, trying to focus on the head, and then the cable connects. You are split like a cell dividing, wrenched in two directions at once. The world goes dark, and the cloud rushes in to fill the gaps at your center. Where am I? You ask a question in your mind, and you feel it travel across the gap as it forms, like a finger drawn across your scalp from ear to ear. But not scalp. You have no scalp. No head. You are stretched out like the skin of a drum, looped like the string of a noose. The smallest vibration echoes across yourself like a ripple across a puddle. And then you feel it. A strong pulse, like a heartbeat, like thunder, like footsteps. A flickering, a trembling, a thought coming into being. The thought flickers in front of you, and you recognize that it is not your own. Assist a burial. Assist offer help. Assist a sickness. Offer help. Disintegrate, the thought answers. You fold up in blackness, then for a moment after, you unfold, like waking. Apparition to appear. Dwelling, indwelling, the thought answers. You stretch into infinitude, then for a moment after, you contract, like waking. Inspire to grow inside, instill to fluence. Inspire to grow inside. Substitute, subtract, substrate. Not subtract, substrate, the thought answers. Then it approaches, then it enters, then it is yours. You split, then the moment after you reform like waking, and then in the cracks that seal up. For a moment in those cracks, something glows. Sleeper, I'm here. Your eyes flicker open like shutters. Junie's face is close, her eyes wide. They're awake, she calls over your head. She looks back at you. Easy now, take it slow. You twist, floating, turning your head as if you were underwater, feeling the resistance of a body you had already forgotten. How long has it been? You feel a weight you haven't felt in. You're okay, Sleeper. Tell us you were there. What happened? Junie leans in close. What happened? The process was successful. Jean-Mi floats beside the chair, his hands clasped in a businesslike fashion. I was able to access the frame directly, without your emulation being present. I ran the administrator-level diagnostic process built into its system, and received the results. He takes a moment to gather himself. Your frame is indeed changing. The protein chains that code your biosynthetic organs group cell replacement have been altered. To put it simply, your body is following a new set of instructions. Didn't the reboot do that? No, the reboot and recoding you went under simply stopped those protein chains from artificially decaying, breaking your dependence on stabilizer. This process, the entire replacement of your protein chains, could only have been achieved over multiple doses of a specialized substance, as part of a carefully planned process of total substitution. That word sticks in your mind. Substitution. You say it without thinking. Yes, Jean-Mi reacts as if you were speaking to him. I believe it could only have been achieved with one substance as the carrier. Stabilizer. Stabilizer. The drug SNARP designed to make you dependent on them. The drug Lane fed you to keep you alive. The drug you thought you had escaped.
My stabilizer was laced with something?
That is what I believe. Jean-Mi looks apologetic.
This kind of process.
Jean-Mi hesitates now, and you realize the bad news is yet to come. Performed over many, many doses, carefully planned and designed. I cannot think of a way it can be reversed. Jean-Mi looks down. I can say that you are changing. I can tell you how it was achieved. But I can neither stop it nor tell you its ultimate end. I'm sorry.
And what was the point?
To understand more, Sleeper. To find answers. I did not promise anything else.
I'm sorry, Sleeper.
Junie struggles to find words.
Perhaps we can find someone else or...
She falters.
Try again?
You don't feel able to respond. You quietly push yourself away from the chair, your thoughts slow to cohere. You glide back to the door and then out into the flow of flotsam, the noise and activity passing you like smoke. In the haze, you find that word again, substitute, and begin to wonder what exactly it is that you are becoming. Seraphin once more finds you in your bunk. He gently prods you with questions, and you quickly relent. You explain what Jean-Mi had said about your suspicions regarding Lane and your confusion as to his motivation. You tell him you don't know what this will mean for you in the future. He listens, and when he is done listening, you both sit and wait for the moment to pass. And then you leave the rig, each on your own errands, each knowing that the only option is to keep going until you are forced to stop. All right. Fuck. Okay, so our stabilizer... So we had a different kind of stabilizer fed to us by Lane. Yeah. So while we're not dependent on stabilizer from SNARP, like the typical one, we were given an atypical stabilizer that Lane had specifically concocted to make us dependent on him. And I guess because our process was interrupted, we're still reliant on it, and it's causing us to change slightly. Shit, that's a fucking revelation. Wow. Well, unfortunately, that's gonna be where we have to stop for now. Sorry again, it's just, that's a big, I knew I wanted to get that done because that was such a huge thing to finally figure out what's happening to us. So, yeah, now we know. We have our body is just gradually changing because a different form of stabilizer was used on us, and we don't know what's happening. I still run by the theory that Lane is trying to have us sort of as an extended piloted body that he can just tap into whenever he wants, especially since he can speak into our heads when he's nearby. So, yeah, fuck, what a good game. Oh, I love playing this. This is so fun. Like, this is probably the best way that I could ever see a one-on-one tabletop system ever working. Like, genuinely, this is such a special game, and I really want people to play this more. So both games are on Steam, and actually both games are on Switch. Man, this was an experience. Yes, this was such, like, both games are genuine experiences that I still think about a lot. You know, I think about some of the characters I even encountered in Citizen Sleeper 1 and how impactful they can be and how strong of a moment can hit. Like, this game has such a strong way of storytelling when its actual scope, like the things you're seeing on screen, are so much more simple than what you typically see in a lot of larger games. Like, not to say, oh, there aren't any good moments that are done by way of, like, what's the word I'm searching for? Grandeur. Like, not to say moments of grandeur and intricate character facial expressions can't have moments of effectiveness. They can. Like, I've encountered that with Baldur's Gate. I've encountered that with Metaphor ReFantazio. Like, I've encountered that a lot, but it's fascinating to me that a game that has simple but effective environment layouts character portraits and exceptional writing can be just as effective and make you feel much more for the characters. Like, it truly shows, like, it's just the execution, you know? And it's executed wonderfully here. So, yeah. With that said, thank you all for joining me tonight. For VOD watchers on YouTube, if you liked what you see here, be sure to give me a follow on Twitch and on my Blue Sky, since both of those are usually my most active platforms. Twitch for my live streams, Blue Sky for when I post about my live streams and when I'm going live and when my schedules are. So that's usually where I go for updating you all on when I'm going live, what times I'm live, what days I'm live, and just other stuff that I'm sharing, like games I think look cool or art that I think looks cool. And just, it's like the most active platform that I'm on. So follow me there. And yeah, refer to there for any future schedule updates. So that's all I've got for that. As for other announcements, I don't really have anything that's different so far. As I said, I'll just make sure to let you know on Blue Sky accordingly. So yeah. With that said, take care of yourselves, everybody on YouTube. Stay hydrated, keep your postures checked, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.